Chapter 1778. Lin Chun breathed a sigh of relief after using the immortal creation bloodline ability to sustain the lives of his severely injured servants. The descendants of the four great demon emperors never appeared again. The true dragon Saint King of the Holy Purgatory is most likely dead. Only 4 of the top 10 on the Saint Talent ranking are left. Why didn't Lin Chun get on the Saint Talent ranking? His providence is empty and can't connect to the sacred boundary. The experts in the sword domain were in heated discussions. Some Saint Kings had already left quietly and started to report the truth to their own forces. Next, the sacred boundary would usher in an unprecedented change. Lin Chen's every move would affect the situation in the sacred boundary. When the dragon race went to war, Lin Chen's servants, who still had the strength to fight, followed decisively. Hundreds of supreme experts from the primordial dragon race formed a group of dragon kings and dragon saints. Destroying a rank 9 family was not a problem. Unless that family or sect had some kind of killing weapon, they would basically be able to sweep through everything in one wave. Rank 9 sects with such a foundation would not join the Genesis Alliance. Those who joined the Genesis Alliance were basically rank 9 forces like the Divine Flame Palace that were at the end of their road. Lin Chen's overbearingness had already been witnessed by countless experts. If those rank 9 forces dared to rope in reinforcements and form alliances with other rank 9 forces, Lin Chen's foundation could also intimidate them. It was very simple. If Lin Chun had killed Ying Jiufeng, he might not have been able to control the situation. However, he had defeated 6 Saint Talents on the Saint Talent ranking. There was also Wu Pianju, who was comparable to the top 3 on the Saint Talent ranking. This was his foundation and courage. Currently, there were not many forces in the sacred boundary that could go against Lin Chen's forces. Lin Chen only sent a clone and a large team to raid all the bases of the Genesis Alliance in various regions. As for Lin Chen's main body, he personally returned to the mystic realm. He did not go to the Saint Monarch domain, which could be considered as leaving some face for the various forces. This showed that he had no intention of dominating the sacred boundary. Time passed, and a month later, Lin Chen's servants had all recovered. Mystic Realm, former site of the Ice Heart Palace. On a mountain peak, Lin Chen opened his eyes and exhaled a powerful breath that crushed a large area of the void. I've finally finished refining the spoils of war from this battle. Just by killing a few descendants of the demon emperors, my pure strength has broken through to the sage ruler physique of 2 million venerables. In this battle, Lin Chen's pure strength had broken through the limit just by relying on the huge amount of vitality attribute points he had lost. He was now second only to Long Jiushan, Lin Chun of the Divine Dragon race. The sacred dragon, who had transformed into his human form, stood before Lin Chun. His face was like bright jade, and his face was young and tender. White dragon chi lingered around his body. His aura was restrained, vast and mysterious, and his brows were sharp and austere. In terms of appearance, Lin Chen's Divine Dragon of God of Light looked much younger than him. Lin Chun clicked his tongue in wonder. Damn you. If it weren't for the fact that you have some of my aura with your tender skin and tender flesh, and if I gave you a basketball, I think you would have already debuted in 2.5 years. If the Divine Dragon of God of Light was an unsheathed sword before, then it was now a peerless sword that was completely silent in its scabbard. If it was unsheathed, then it would be earth-shattering. Speaking of which, this true Dragon Divine Embryo's chi is really mysterious. It actually allowed my Divine Dragon to reach 10 million venerable Saint King physique. Lin Chen shook his head in amazement. 10 million venerable Saint King physique. This boundary had just broken through the Saint King physique. The Divine Dragon of Light now had the combat strength of a reincarnation saint. There were very few reincarnation saints. Most of the great dragon kings of the desolate ancient dragon race were only at the peak of the Saint King physique. After absorbing the true dragon divine embryo's chi, Lin Shen's divine dragon of light had obtained the opportunity to reconstruct its origin. At first, Lin Shen had almost peed his pants when he saw the divine dragon of light return from its adult form to its infant form after absorbing the true dragon divine embryo's chi. Only 1 in 100 Saint Kings had a chance of entering the reincarnation saint realm. They needed to refine their Saint King physique in 100 Saint Caves. It was the same for the dragon race's cultivation. They needed to fuse with the dragon veins, reconstruct them, and expand the dragon veins to accommodate more energy. It was similar to the human race's Saint Cave cultivation. If it was purely to increase the power of blood, Lin Shen's divine dragon of light would not be able to break through so quickly. Even if the dragon veins were to be reconstructed to the point of breaking through, it would still take a certain amount of time to complete. The true dragon divine embryo's chi contained the pure energy of the infant divine dragon. It was both gentle and powerful. It could easily reconstruct the dragon veins. With a thought, Lin Shen opened the system. Heavenly Tao Possession System version 8.0 Host Lin Shen. Cultivation Early Stage 6th Heaven Sage Realm Saint Grade Essence 2,293 trillion points. Limit Power 2.05 million Supreme Power Flesh Shell Awakening plus 500%. Saint Grade Chi Blood 1,895 trillion points. Saint Grade Spiritual Power 5,822 billion. Mid-Stage Essence Spirit Realm Saint Grade Cultivation Essence 3.1 billion points. Saint Grade Rune Energy 1.8 billion points. Top Heaven Tao Points 1,915. 29 billion points. Top Talent Points 900 million points. Intermediate Set Essence 780,000 points. Intermediate Strengthening Points 19,884 billion points. Saint Grade Elemental Energy 89 billion points of Fire 87. 2 billion points of Earth 81. 2 billion points of Wood 83. 6 billion points of Metal 83. 5 billion points of Water 89 billion points of Lightning 85. 7 billion points of Wind 88. 4 billion points of Light 88. 4 billion points of Dark. Set Column 5 pieces of Golden War Gods set incomplete. Special Attribute Treasures 3 Top Grade Metal Odd Crystals 1 Top Grade Fire Odd Crystal 7 Saint Grade Upgrade Coupons a random Top Grade Orange Alchemy Handprint Fragment 2/5 6 Orange Exclusive Talent Treasure Chests 4 or more treasure chests will definitely drop a high grade orange talent, and there's a small chance of a top grade orange talent or a one-off top grade orange talent. Above 10 chests, there's a high chance of a top grade orange talent. Talent Column, Bloodline Column, Cultivation Method Column, Life Awakening Column, Characteristics Rune Column, Divine Spark Column, Divine Elephant Divine Spark, Cooling Down, remaining 103 days to activate. Immortal Divine Spark Fragment, 1/3. Immortal Divine Spark, Nirvana Rebirth, Immortal Rebirth. Consumes a large amount of Heaven Tao points to activate, and has the ability to heal injuries instantly. The complete Immortal Divine Spark can heal injuries caused by God-tier living beings, while the Divine Spark Fragment can heal injuries caused by quasi-God-tier experts. Unless the host is instantly annihilated into nothingness, the Immortal Divine Spark can instantly heal any injuries, provided that the host has the corresponding Heaven Tao points. Immortal Divine Spark. Lin Shen destroyed Ing Jiofeng's 9 Divine Phoenix Wills and obtained a new killer move. Previously, I had the Immortal Creation Bloodline ability, and now I have the Immortal Divine Spark Fragment. Lin Shen licked his lips. Now that I have a strong army, I have a bunch of killer moves, and not just anyone can take my life. Lin Shen's Yin Yang Creation Divine Dragon Bloodline had the Immortal Creation Bloodline ability, which was also a killer move for healing injuries. However, there was still a huge difference between the two. No matter how strong the Immortal Creation Bloodline ability's recovery ability was, it still needed time. This was not comparable to the instant recovery of the immortal divine spark fragment. Chapter 1779. As long as Lin Shun had enough heavenly Tao points, he wouldn't be reduced to nothingness by a single strike. Furthermore, he wouldn't be lacking in heavenly Tao points. Even if his heart was hit, he wouldn't die. Of course, this didn't mean that Lin Shun was invincible. He still had to rely on himself after his heavenly path points were depleted. Lin Shun laughed mockingly. Not bad, system. Last time you just mentioned a trump card like Wu Pianju, and this time you immediately arranged it. System, you'll always be the boss. Lin Shun took out a spatial jade scroll that flickered with fluorescent light. This spatial jade scroll was given to him by the woman in the star skirt beside Lin Wan. It was made of the same material as the normal spatial jade scroll from the sacred boundary. Creatures from the three-dimensional universe couldn't use items from the four-dimensional universe without a special connection. Even the spatial jade scroll was made from the sacred boundary. Lin Shun took a deep breath. His heart throbbed, and he couldn't calm down. Inside this spatial jade slip, there was a high possibility that Lin Shun's background was hidden. If he opened it, it might be the beginning of a new story. It might also be the beginning of him losing his life. Previously, Lin Shun was close to the battle and didn't dare to split his attention to open this item. Now that the battle was over, he could finally reveal his background as revealed by the woman in the star skirt. Could it be that he really had someone in his family? If that was the case, would his family in the heavenly realm be safe? How would he face them? Lin Shun's heart was filled with complex emotions. He opened the space jade slip. A telepathic message and memories flooded into his mind. The human race's heavenly realm, the four-dimensional universe. It's divided into two regions. 9 realm seas, each more chaotic than the last. The realm seas are strong and weak worlds where chaos and opportunity coexist. It's the spatial sea that existed after the ancient era ruled by the gods. The divine wilderness galaxy is the galaxy where the dragon race, the beast race, the azure race, and the demon race meet. It's the largest region. It's not under the control of the human race. A majestic and imposing picture scroll slowly unfolded. Lin Shun seemed to be able to sense the magnificent four-dimensional universe, filled with endless history. The 5 continents galaxy is the main territory of the human race in the heavenly realm. The 100 schools of thought contended, and the gods lived in the world. More than half of the deities of the human race are gathered in the 5 continents, and above the 5 continents is the god domain. A sea of memories flooded into Lin Shun's mind as a mental transmission informed Lin Shun of the current situation in the divine realm. The Lin family once came from the divine realm above the 5 continents. The divine realm's Lin family has been an ancient aristocratic family for generations. But in the final era, they gradually began to decline. The first message made Lin Shun feel as if he had been struck by lightning. The Lin family was actually from the divine realm, the pinnacle of the divine realm. Before the Lin clan declined, they had the most outstanding Lin Xiaoyao and the Yi clan's mysterious lady of the 9 heavens, Yi Hongming, getting married and becoming a legend in the god realm. Originally, I thought that after the Lin clan merged with the Yi clan, they would gradually return to their peak. Until one day, the Lin clan gave birth to a shocking genius that shocked the world. His talent far surpasses any human genius in the history of the god realm. The Providence anomaly is so strong that even the Lin clan is unable to conceal it completely. The heavenly secrets have been revealed. This child is called Lin Xingqian. His birth determines his future. With his talent, he shocked the deities and shook the divine realm. He was unanimously recognized by the deities as the future number 1 genius of the divine realm. After that, the divine realm was in turmoil, and the Lin family was coveted by thousands of families. In order to protect Xingqian, Lin Xiaoyao secretly brought him out of the divine realm and hid in the 9-layered realm sea. He originally wanted to raise Xingqian outside the divine realm, but who would have thought that he would encounter such a shocking event? The nine-layered realm, C, was originally the most chaotic, vast, and mysterious region in the divine realm. No force could infiltrate it. However, this was a change in the divine realm. All the forces in the divine realm participated in it. They mobilized their forces and networks to search the entire nine-layered realm C. After the two of them were discovered, they could not bring Xingqian into the lower realm. Descending to the lower realm with the appearance of a deity will definitely make them stand out. It is only a matter of time before they are discovered. However, Xingqian's powerful bloodline potential is difficult to completely hide. He will definitely become the target of everyone in the lower realm. In order to protect the descendants of the Lin family, Lin Xiaoyao used his own blood as a guide to refine the essence of Xingqian's bloodline. Xingqian's foundation and aptitude were all hurriedly erased by Lin Xiaoyao, reducing him to an incomparably ordinary person. He became the most ordinary person in the vast sea of people in the lower realm. He only hoped that there would be a day when he could escape from danger and take Xingqian back. Who would have thought that after that, Lin Xiaoyao would be exposed? In order to refine Xingqian's bloodline, Lin Xiaoyao used up a lot of divine power and was surrounded and killed by the experts of the divine realm. Lin Xiaoyao's mother, Yi Hongming, was imprisoned. The Yi family used their own influence to personally go to the divine realm and take Yi Hongming back. However, Lin Xingqian became a part of the divine realm's history. Just like his name, he was born as Xingqian and died as Xingqian. Like a flash in the pan, like a shooting star. After losing Lin Xiaoyao and Lin Xingqian, the Lin family was completely suppressed by the various forces of the divine realm and gradually declined. In the end, they lost the right to enter the divine realm and were expelled from the divine realm. They became an aristocratic family in the 5 continents. After reading all the contents of the spatial jade slip, Lin Chen's eyebrows drooped. His lips trembled slightly, and his breathing trembled. If I'm really Lin Xingqian, then has my father already passed away? Lin Chen's heart could not calm down for a long time. It was as if his entire chest was burning with a fury that could burn the world. What a ruthless method! They would rather kill 10,000 innocents than let a single one go. The divine realm and the divine realm. For the sake of an infant, all of their benevolence, righteousness, and morals were worthless. To think that they would go so crazy as to chase him all the way to the lower realm without letting him go. After closing the spatial jade slip, a hexagonal star imprint appeared on the back of Lin Chen's hand. The voice of the lady in the star dress reverberated. This is the unique bloodline imprint of the Lin family. If you activate it, it will send out a mark that represents you as a member of the Lin family. If you go to the divine realm, you can use this imprint to return to the Lin family. Also, with this imprint, you can use the Starry Sky Divine Stone to go to the divine realm. This item is an item from the three-dimensional universe. You can use it. A star stone with purple light swirling around it lay quietly in the jade slip. After his anger subsided, Lin Chen lowered his head and looked at the imprint on the back of his hand. With his character, if it were not for his own background, he would not have come out after settling everything at the divine realm. He would have chosen to live in seclusion and live a carefree life. However, he still found out about his background. Divine realm, divine realm. Those who secretly intercepted the Lin family back then were all experts from the divine realm. They were all the top forces in the divine realm. Above the divine realm, everyone was Lin Chen's enemy. How many true gods were waiting for him? Lin Chen. How many heaven-defying forces were Lin Chen's enemies? If he, Lin Chen, returned to the divine realm, how many unimaginable strong enemies would stand in his way? Lin Chen's enemies were not just one or two true gods, but the entire divine realm. Another doubt arose in Lin Chen's heart. If Lin Xingqian is me, then what's up with the previous Lin Xingqian? Kill all enemies and be polite to all friends. Lin Ping, and covered his forehead and pouted his lips in grievance. He made a face at Lin Shun as if he was unconvinced. Lin Shun said seriously, Taishu, take people to the Jiang family and say that we're willing to buy their supreme-grade odd crystals at a high price. We'll try our best to satisfy any of their conditions. After all, it's their family heirloom. We can't treat them badly. Jiang Taishu accepted the order. Yes, but what if they insist on not selling? Lin Chun coughed lightly. If they don't sell, we can't snatch it either. We're honest people. If they don't want to sell it, just tell them. Miss Pingan of Suffering will stay with the Jiang family for a while until they change their mind. Look, what's an honest person? Jiang Taishu held back his laughter and pretended to be serious. Yes, my lord. The corners of the extreme hell Water Dragon King's mouth twitched. This young man was too honest. If it's a supreme-grade metal-type, odd crystal, Extreme Hell Water Dragon King said with a slightly solemn expression. I remember my ancestor mentioning that the 7th metal divine pool in the Hell Galaxy may produce many supreme-grade metal-type odd crystals. Jiang Taishu was surprised. 7th metal divine pool? It said that it was the place where the last divine dragon of the ancient Azure Gold Dragon clan fell. The universe storm there is terrifying. Even holy kings aren't qualified to get close. Hell, Galaxy? Isn't that the territory of the demon-human race? Lin Shen looked at the extreme Hell Water Dragon King and said seriously, Is the news confirmed? The Water Dragon King's beautiful eyes turned and nodded seriously. Most likely, it was a good friend of the ancestor. The ancestor's memory can't be wrong. Jiang Taishu hurriedly said, My lord, please think twice. That's the territory of the demon-human race. Lin Shen glared at him like an old man. So what if it's the demonic race's territory? I've even slept with the best fighter in the demonic race. It's just a mere hell star system. I'm going to find my woman. Am I not afraid of being eaten? Everyone was dumbfounded. Luo Shueiyue and Princess Xing used pretty faces changed slightly. You've slept with the best of the demon-human race? Are you still human? Jiang Taishu's mouth opened slightly. The best of the demon-human race? Could it be? Jiang Taishu came to a realization and clapped his hands in praise. No wonder my lord could sneak into the holy prison. There's actually such a relationship. Ji Wuchen couldn't help but chuckle. My lord is really a role model for my generation. Lin Shun said seriously, It's indeed a bit of a loss. Last time, she slept with me. This time, I'm going to sleep with her back. Shang Guanjua, Lin Shun looked at Xiao Ling, and Zi Qianshou, who had just recovered. The two were helpless. All right, my lord is going to the demon-human race next. I'll leave the rest to you. Our second station is in the mystic realm. Taishu, we're going to establish a force next. Lin Chun handed 2 books to him. This is the cultivation method for middle-grade and low-grade odd crystals. If you join our force, you can teach them this secret manual at your discretion. Jiang Taishu understood and took it solemnly. Taishu will not disappoint my lord. This time, I'll bring Ling, and Qianshou. The rest will stay in the mystic realm. As soon as Lin Shen finished speaking, Xiao Ling opened up a space tunnel. Wait! Princess Xingyu was about to speak when Lin Shen and the other 2 entered the space tunnel and disappeared. She gritted her teeth and stomped her feet angrily. Her phoenix eyes were filled with anger. Why are you running so fast? This princess came to help you after falling out with my imperial father. You didn't even say thank you. Are you in such a hurry to find a woman? It's best if you die there and don't come back. Luo Shueiyue smiled faintly. If he dies, won't he never have the chance to thank you? Princess Xingyu snorted coldly. I don't care. When everyone saw this scene, they smiled knowingly in unison, looking like they had experienced it before. Long Jiushan clicked his tongue in wonder and said to Ji Wuchen with a smirk, Say, my lord is too efficient. How did he get so many girls in such a short time? This dragon princess has taken the bait. Princess Xingyu blushed and said angrily, Who did you say took the bait? Long Jiushan laughed. Ji Wuchen rubbed his chin and said with a smirk, My lord has a killing weapon on him and a great plan in mind. He acts coquettishly and fights domineeringly. Who doesn't like him? Any woman with a bit of taste can't escape. It's a pity that our Lord is coquettish and not a stallion. He already has a master. When Luo Shueiyue heard this, she suddenly said, "Where's the one he likes?" Everyone was silent. Ji Wuchen laughed. "Naturally, she's in the safest place in the world." Long Jiushan whistled. "My lord is really strong. He went to the dragon world and killed 2 people in one go." Chapter 1781. The Hell Galaxy was a distant star field to the north of the Divine River Galaxy. Back then, the demon tribe was banished to the Hell Galaxy, which had the worst living environment. This star field had the most frequent and terrifying cosmic storms. It lacked resources, and there had been many wars. The living environment was extremely bad, just like hell. It was only when the Demon Empress appeared and led the demon tribe to a new world that the demon tribe was able to pass down their legacy. However, until now, the Hell Galaxy was still one of the territories of the 4 great elders of the demon tribe. This is the Hell Galaxy? Lin Shin floated in the air and came out of the spatial tunnel. He stared at the area where the spatial storms were raging in the distance. The vast astrolabe was purple, beautiful, and magnificent. When he got closer, he saw that many stars were exploding. The afterglow of the stars that died billions of years ago shone on Lin Chen's face. Zi Qianshou said seriously, "My lord, shall we escort you there?" Lin Chen shook his head. "No, it's enough to escort me here. Enter my destiny plant pouch. I'll take care of any battles or accidents. You just have to save up for me to escape." Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling looked at each other and turned into a stream of light to enter Lin Chen's destiny plant pouch. Lin Chen touched his chin and frowned. "The number of demon tribe experts that my primordial spirit sensed is a little terrifying. There are already no less than 29th Revolution Saints outside the starfield. If it's inside, there were already so many experts outside the Hell Galaxy. There were probably as many experts as there were clouds inside the galaxy. System, I want to use the permanent orange talent enhancer." When Lin Shun killed the top 10 on the Saint talent list, he also obtained a permanent talent enhancer. He was still thinking about which talent to strengthen, but now he had decided. Permanent orange talent enhancer. It can strengthen permanent talents once. It's only effective on advanced orange talents. Which talent do you want to strengthen? Strengthen God Slayer. Buzz. The enhancer with orange divine light flowed like a gourd and rose from the system space. An orange talisman was embedded in it. It throbbed slightly before it suddenly disappeared. Upgrade successful. The enhancer has disappeared. The Godslayer talent has been upgraded to an advanced orange talent. Its effect has been strengthened and its range has been widened. The original base authentication cooldown has been halved. Lin Shen's Godslayer talent sword. Moreover, the original cooldown of 22 days had been reduced and it could be used again. If he used it in the future, the cooldown would also be reduced. System, consume half of my current strengthening points to strengthen my annihilation. Starburst. Lin Chen's annihilation star explosion had never been strengthened. Before the final battle with Genesis, he had used most of his strengthening points on his servants. Initiating automatic strengthening annihilation star explosion, strengthening success +1, consumed 11 billion intermediate strengthening points. The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. A top-notch orange grade skill is indeed perverse. Enhancement +1, starting from 10 billion. Who can withstand that? Lin Shun had spent close to 1 trillion intermediate strengthening points, and his annihilation star explosion had reached +13. Its power had increased by 240%, more than double. With these 2 trump cards, Lin Shen's chances of roaming the Hellstar system had increased by a notch. Chi, chi, chi. Lin Shen's body suddenly emitted a large amount of demonic chi. His temperament changed. Horns grew on his head, his body was covered in scales, and his appearance was cold and evil. He had turned into a demonic human. The demonic seal that Yao gave me can still be used. There shouldn't be many demonic humans who can see through my disguise. As long as I encounter a reincarnation saint stage demonic human, I shouldn't be discovered. Lin Shen activated his pure strength and rushed into the Hellstar system. The demonic humans had many body refiners. As long as Lin Shen did not use his saint stage power to fight, he could use his body refiner's strength to deceive everyone and disguise himself as a demonic human. In the Hellstar system, a gray storm raged. In the middle of it was a blood-red continent. The Empress has been here for 3 months. The 4 great elders still haven't gathered their men. To dare to make the Empress wait for 3 months. Aren't you afraid that she will kill all of us? As expected of the 4 great elders, their courage is extraordinary. Courage? I'm afraid things aren't that simple. In the bloody continent, the experts of the demonic human race were gathered. There were hundreds of demonic human kings, and each of them was comparable to a Saint King realm expert. Since ancient times, this was the first time the demonic human race had gathered so many people. Boom! Black clouds rolled in the sky, and demonic chi overflowed like the sun and moon. Many demonic human kings raised their heads and stared at the void, revealing a dignified expression. The 4 great elders of the demonic human race had arrived. In the center of the demonic palace, Empress Luo Yao sat alone at the head of the palace. She was still wearing a veil, hiding her true appearance. Her autumn eyes were like water, but they were incomparably cold. The wide black robe could not hide her exquisite figure. A burst of demonic chi swept into the palace, and 4 figures appeared out of thin air on the 4 seats of the demonic palace. It was as if they had been sitting there from the beginning to the end. The 4 great elders of the demonic human race. Among these 4, there were old and young. They had the appearance of the human race and the charm of the demon race. Other than the Empress, after the birth of the demonic human race, there were only 4 existences who could contend with the gods of the human race and the divine dragons of the dragon race. This was the highest meeting of the demonic human race. Ordinary demonic human kings did not even have the qualifications to listen in. Luo Yao said coldly, "You are 3 months later than the agreement. Are you arrogant? Or is this Empress unable to lift her blade?" The young elder wearing a silver scorpion mask said with a fake smile. A ferocious scorpion tail swayed under his feet, and centipede-like veins crawled on his forehead. It took some time to coordinate the manpower. After all, the matter of attacking the human race is no small matter. The only female revered elder of the demon dwellers was an enchanting revered elder. She had a human face and a snake body. She looked at Luo Yao, with a cold, killing intent. Her eyes were filled with jealousy and fear as she chuckled. "Empress, why are you in such a hurry? Even if the gods of the human race are all out, there are still many killing moves hidden in the sacred boundary of the human race. If you don't prepare well, you might fail miserably." A one-eyed elder held a walking stick. His demonic eyes contained a demonic prison. It was strange and unfathomable. His voice was hoarse and eerie, like fingernails scratching the wall. To be able to gather manpower in 3 months, it could be said to be godly speed. Luo Yao's beautiful eyes flashed with a demonic light. She said sternly, "This Empress sent an envoy 10 years ago to inform you to gather the manpower. You mentioned 3 months?" Bang! Luo Yao smashed a large piece of the void with her palm. She suddenly stood up, and a demonic light flashed in her autumn eyes. The terrifying demonic might was like 10,000 mountains pressing down on the 4 elders. "It seems that you don't put me in your eyes." Luo Yao, the young elder with the silver scorpion mask, stood up. "If you have something to say it directly. Don't tell me that you want to ride on our heads." Wong, wong, wong. Time and space distorted, and all the light in the world began to be nibbled away. A demonic blood-colored saber appeared in Luo Yao's slender hand. The 4 elders' faces changed slightly. She had actually completely broken through that realm. The current Luo Yao was worthy of being the strongest in the history of the demonic human race. Luo Yao held the demonic saber and glanced at the four elders. This empress is here to inform you, not to discuss with you. Today's example, there will be no next time. Whoever dares to disobey, there will be no mercy. The atmosphere in the entire demonic palace was cold and tense. Luo Yao alone intimidated the four elders. Chapter 1782. The atmosphere was cold, and arrows were drawn. Inside the demon hall, four waves of demonic energy rose and disappeared. They wanted to attack, but they were afraid. Luo Yao narrowed her eyes. Not listening to this emperor's arrangements, are you not of the same mind as the demon race? The silver scorpion revered elder sneered. We are not of the same mind? Why don't you say you are the only one? The snake woman unconsciously took a step back. That's right. You want us to attack the human race, but you want to unify our people. That's impossible. If you let our subordinates die first, or even let us attack first, then you would just sit there and wait. Won't you take all the benefits? The one-eyed, revered elder cackled. Everyone is worried about your betrayal. Empress. Black mist curled up, and a pair of black, jade-like eyes opened. This was the fourth revered elder of the demon race. He did not reveal his true body, but slowly said, Empress, if you want to use our people, you have to show your sincerity. Luo Yao frowned, and the atmosphere became tense. On the Blood Continent, the various demon kings felt the terrifying pressure from the demon hall, and their figures retreated a great distance. The aura of the four revered elders and the Empress was not something ordinary experts could approach. At this time, a handsome young man passed by the Blood Continent. He was covered in scales and had a silver horn on his head. He smiled and patted the shoulder of a demon king standing in the army. Old brother, which way is the flowing gold zone? That greenhorn demon king was furious. What was his identity? He was a demon king, a big brother of the demon race comparable to his saint king. He was very spirited, and other than experts of the same level, who would dare to talk to him in such a tone? When he discovered that the person's pure strength was even fiercer than his, he respectfully smiled and said, Friend, the flowing gold zone is north of the Hell Galaxy. Behind the 300 star, go straight for tens of thousands of li. The greenhorn demon king said calmly. Friend, your appearance and aura are a bit unfamiliar. I am Green Demon. Where are you from? The silver-horned demon king smiled casually. I am with Empress Luo. I have been in seclusion recently and have only just come out, so I'm not familiar with the surroundings. Hearing this, Green Demon was shocked. Empress Luo? The true name of the Demonkin Empress was only known to a few core members and the Demonkin King. Even he only knew about it 3 months before the war. How would this guy know about it? This guy's background is not small. I have to suck up to him and build a good relationship with him. Who knows, I might even be able to ride on his coattails on the battlefield. If Big Brother wants to go to the flowing gold zone, it would be more convenient for me to lead the way. Come, this way, please. Green Demon smiled apologetically and led the way. Lin Shun clicked his tongue in wonder. Yao's name was really useful. He only knew about this move after knocking out a few Devil Cultivator-s. This silver horn devil man king was precisely Lin Chun in disguise. Lin Chun glanced at a demonic palace far away on the Scarlet Continent. The devil seal on his palm could faintly sense something. Luo Yao was inside the devil hall. At the same time, he could also feel 4 powerful auras that were not inferior to the divine dragons of the dragon tribe. Lin Chun thought to himself, the other 4 auras must be the famous honorable elders of the demon tribe. If I go over like this, I won't be able to see Yao. I have to find a suitable opportunity. I should take this opportunity to go to the flowing gold zone and explore the dragon pool. Lin Shin nodded to Green Demon without batting an eyelid. And your path is wide. If you have any problems when attacking the human tribe in the future, I will take care of you. Thank you, Big Brother. Green Demon stepped into the air and led the way for Lin Chun. Lin Shen could sense Luo Yaoer's location through the Devil Seal, and so could Luo Yaoer. At this moment, she also sensed Lin Shen's location, but because she was confronting the four honorable elders, she did not have the time to care about Lin Shen's appearance. In her impression and memory, she did not engrave the Devil Chi into any living being. However, since he had her own Devil Seal, he should be one of them. Luo Yaoer did not appear to look for Lin Shen first. With Green Demon leading the way, Lin Shen was able to travel through the Hell Galaxy without any obstructions, saving him a lot of trouble. In less than an hour, Lin Shen arrived at a dazzling golden nebula. This vast nebula was extremely beautiful. The golden flowing light was like the most beautiful and dazzling blade in the mortal world. It was enshrouded in a sharp aura that could tear stars apart. Amidst its beauty, there was a fatal killing intent. Under the extreme beauty, the center of the nebula seemed to hide a touch of dark and pale green. Even with Lin Shen's current cultivation level, he did not notice it. Wait a moment. This is the forbidden area of the demon tribe. The two of you are not allowed to enter without the honorable elder's orders. 2 streams of devil chi descended, and 2 blood-red demon tribesmen covered in feathers blocked in front of Lin Shen and Green Demon. They were 2 half-step demon king experts. Green Demon whispered to Lin Shen, "They're the honorable elders' men. They're guarding the forbidden area. I can only escort you here, big brother." In fact, Green Demon could use some connections to try to enter, but he threw the problem to Lin Shen. He wanted to test Lin Shen's strength and see if he was worth licking. The corners of Lin Shen's mouth curled up slightly. He knew the rules of the demon tribe. Boom, bang, bang. Lin Shen slapped over, his 5 fingers erupting with a power that could suppress ghosts and gods. He slapped the 2 demon tribesmen away like lightning, causing them to spit out blood and retreat in horror. He shouted at the top of his voice, "Damn you, shameless! Do I need you to teach me how to do things? Get lost!" Green Demon clicked his tongue in wonder. Ruthless, strong, domineering. The demon tribesmen had always been a race where the strong preyed on the weak to the extreme. When doing things, your fists were hard enough, and your attitude was ruthless enough so that you could stand firm. The more ferocious the demon tribesman king was, the more they would attract the followers of their subordinates. This point had perfectly inherited the consistent tradition of the demon tribesman. Which honorable elder demon tribesman king are you? How dare you behave atrociously here? How dare you hit my people? Peel off a layer of his skin first. His temper is very explosive. I wonder if his strength is explosive? 6 streams of demonic chi descended behind Lin Shen, and 6 powerful and ferocious demon tribesmen kings appeared. They were all subordinates of the 4 honorable elders. The 6 demon tribesmen kings were either covered in feathers or armor. Their auras could swallow mountains and rivers. When they exhaled, it was like a bloody wind sweeping through, ferocious and ruthless. The 6 kings surrounded Lin Shen. Seeing that the situation was not right, Green Demon immediately said with a smile, "Everyone, we are just here to take a look at the scenery. Really just rubbing, not going in." While talking and laughing, Green Demon quietly retreated a short distance. He did not state his position, but also observed Lin Shen's reaction. Lin Shen's mouth twitched, arrogant and cold. "Oh, so many of you are courting death? I can enter this forbidden area just because I want to. Even the Heavenly King has no room for negotiation. What a big tone. Who doesn't know how to brag? Take him down and hand him over to the higher-ups." The 6 demon tribesmen kings' auras shook, and monstrous demonic chi surged with terrifying pure power. Their bodies flashed with a light similar to that of the human tribesman king, and their palms smashed over, tearing the void apart. The body of the demon tribesmen, the cultivation system of the human tribesmen. The demon tribesmen were truly terrifying. Lin Shen's shoulders shook. Boom! His pure power suddenly skyrocketed to more than 7 million honorable elders. His hands clapped repeatedly, and pure power was like a coiling dragon roaring, crushing all the attacks. Not good. The six kings instantly felt that something was wrong. What was this guy's background? How could he have such terrifying strength? Chapter 1783. Lin Shun activated his pure strength, and with a few steps, his figure flashed like a shadow, punching and slapping all the demon kings. The six demon kings were either beaten until their teeth were broken, or they vomited blood and knelt down. Luemo sucked in a breath of cold air. So fierce? This guy was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Just pure strength alone exceeds 7 million Zunli, as expected of a strong subordinate of the Empress. The holy dragon in Lin Chen's body was now at the level of 10 million Zunli, which was equivalent to the reincarnation sage realm. He only needed the sacred dragon possession to mobilize a portion of its power. Beating up ordinary demonic kings was as easy as flipping his hand. Lin Shen coldly glanced at the six demon kings and said indifferently, "If you were not the lackeys of the four great elders, you would be dead by now. Killing you won't do any good for the upcoming war. Remember, I am a subordinate of the Empress. Now I want to enter the forbidden area. Who agrees and who disagrees?" A subordinate of the Empress? The famous Empress of the demon race. What a strong background. The six demon kings trembled and spat out blood as they replied. No objection. Please take your time." Lin Shen coldly said. "No spirit. Start again. I can't hear you." "No objection. Please enter." "I can't hear you. You want to come out with such a soft voice? Speak until I hear you." Lin Shen suppressed them completely. The six demon kings were very clear that a demon king with such strength, who was also a subordinate of the Empress, must be a top cadre. Even if he killed the six of them, the higher-ups would not offend such a powerful Empress cadre for the six of them. Then Lin Shen looked at Luemo, who understood and cupped his fists. "Brother, if you need anything, just tell me. My respect for you is like a torrential river, endless. I will follow this big brother of yours. Even if you want me to suck it up, I will not say a word." Lin Shen almost laughed out loud, pretending to be indifferent. "Watch them for me. Ask them where they came from. If anyone dares to run, I will beat them up." The six demon kings trembled all over. They did not even have the courage to run. It was an absolute suppression caused by absolute strength. Lin Shun stepped into the flowing gold zone. Just the outer area alone required the cultivation of a 9th revolution saint or above to defend. What a strong gung metal energy. If I can compress the gung metal energy here into a material object, I might be able to create a pinnacle sacred tier treasure. Lin Shen sighed and continued deeper. Lin Shen and Luemo said that they came to the forbidden grounds to comprehend a unique demon-human body tempering technique, and it wouldn't take too long. Therefore, Lin Shen could not let them go. If the demonic kings outside were to be released, it would instead create variables. If they had doubts in their hearts and the upper echelons of the four great revered elders found out, it would be a huge matter, and they would be surrounded. Lin Shun gradually ventured deeper into the molten gold zone. The molten gold energy within the zone was spinning like a millstone, rapidly destroying everything that approached it. Countless celestial bodies streaked past and were all sliced into pieces. Lin Shun clicked his tongue in wonder. What a sharp blade. It's a pity not to use it to castrate the demon human. The area Lin Shun reached was already very close to the core area. Ordinary demon-human kings would be sliced into pieces even if they approached. Now that I'm here, the demon-human race outside can't sense me. Let's remove the disguise first. Lin Shen activated the War God set at the same time as he removed the disguise. War God Golden Body. The War God set's characteristic was activated. Lin Shen's body was surrounded by golden light, and no energy could break through Lin Chen's defense. The Holy Dragon possession was enough for Lin Shen to have the power of 10 million Supremes. He only needed to activate the War God set's characteristic to obtain a terrifying defense. He didn't even need to activate the War God set to increase his power. Lord, we're here. At this time, Xiaoling, Er's bell-like voice, transmitted to Lin Shun through the fate plant pouch. Lin Shun looked down and saw a dazzling golden heavenly lake that looked like it was formed by nature. It surged with extremely dazzling golden light, and the sharp gung metal aura was all-pervasive, as if it could pierce through all obstacles in the world. Lin Shun was shocked and lost his voice. What intense energy! It has turned into liquid. Every drop of liquid in the golden heavenly lake was as heavy as dozens of celestial bodies. This golden heavenly lake, which was hundreds of square meters in size, contained energy that could probably smash through a region of the sacred boundary. Lin Shun rubbed his hands and said excitedly, "This should be the gung metal divine lake that the extreme hell water dragon king mentioned." After a divine dragon perished, the product that was formed over a long period of time was indeed extraordinary. Inside the gung metal divine lake, many star-like auroras flickered. Lin Shun, wearing the war god set, reached out his hand and carefully reached into the divine lake. Wong, wong, wong. The terrifying golden energy fluctuated violently, and Lin Shun's war god golden body began to tremble slightly. If an ordinary reincarnation sacred realm expert reached into the pool, they would probably be crushed into nothingness by the energy. Lin Shun grabbed with his 5 fingers and suddenly exerted force in his palm, grabbing all the starlight in the divine lake. Swish! The starlight converged and absorbed the light. The gung metal divine lake quickly dried up and was finally absorbed by the starlight. Lin Shun held the 5 gold-type odd crystals in his hand that were shrouded in divine radiance. He felt an unprecedented amount of energy. It was too powerful and domineering. This was the energy of 5 supreme-grade odd crystals gathered together. Lin Shun sighed. If I didn't have the War God set's special defense, I'm afraid I would have to use the Taishi Divine Light to resist its sharpness. Just one supreme-grade metal-type odd crystal was enough to destroy the defense of an ordinary sacred king. If it exploded directly, the power would be unimaginable. If a sacred king realm expert didn't have a special corresponding method, it would be difficult to even hold it in their hands, let alone refine it. With 5 of them gathered together, there wouldn't be many creatures in the world that could suppress it. 5 supreme-grade metal-type odd crystals are in my hands. There's still one more odd crystal in the sacred boundary. If I can gather all of them, the final requirement of the War God set will be 1 supreme-grade metal-type odd crystal. Lin Shun kept the 5 supreme-grade metal-type odd crystals in the ultra-space-time plane. Its sharpness was too strong, and there was no time for him to seal these odd crystals. Lin Shun happened to come across the meeting of the demon race, and the top experts gathered in the area where the 4 great elders and the empress were meeting. Otherwise, it would be 100 times harder to enter under normal circumstances. I'll yo-yo first, then go out and find Yao. I wonder if she still remembers me. When Lin Shun thought of Luo Yao and wanted to leave, Xiaoling suddenly exclaimed, "Lord, something's wrong. There's something down there." Lin Shun was taken aback and immediately urged the power of his primordial spirit to explore deeper. He saw that where the gung metal divine pool was gradually disappearing, a fist-sized pale blue vortex appeared. The space-time it was in was completely distorted. Lin Shun's pupils constricted. He saw a faint attribute light ball in the pale blue vortex. Lin Shun swallowed his saliva. There are treasures down there. Chapter 1784. As the azure vortex spun, the surrounding space-time collapsed and twisted into a paste. Lin Shun activated the golden body of the god of war again and rushed into the azure vortex. I've already taken away the energy of the gung metal divine pool. It's only a matter of time before the demon tribe discovers this place. When the fully armored Lin Shun entered the pale blue vortex, the powerful space turbulence was like a storm, erupting with a terrifying strength that pulled at Lin Shun, instantly dragging him into the depths of the vortex. What a heavy space. What the hell is this place? Lin Shun was about to instinctively throw out a few punches to defend himself when a vast and ancient dragon's aura hit him in the face. Lin Shun appeared in a brand new space-time. When he activated his primordial spirit and scanned, Lin Shun was completely stunned on the spot. His primordial spirit's strength had been enhanced by the Tai space-time, far surpassing that of an ordinary mid-stage primordial spirit. The range of his perception was extremely wide. Even if he couldn't fully perceive a small galaxy, he could roughly estimate the range. But in this space-time, he could only sense that it was endless. My lord, we've fallen into a zone where time and space are almost stagnant. Xiaoling, Er's voice was both excited and trembling slightly. After defeating Zhou Baichuan, she had obtained the legacy of the space-time silent god, and her understanding of time and space had reached a new level. Otherwise, she wouldn't have discovered this place. Lin Shun tried to move his body. As expected, the space here was very stagnant. The flow of time was infinitely close to stagnation. I can't move? It can't be, right? What the hell is this place? The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. Xiaoling Er's voice was surprised again. My lord, look below. When Lin Chen lowered his head and stared below with difficulty, he was first stunned, then his pupils constricted. The azure, incomplete dragon claw was as vast as a nebula. It tore apart countless star fragments and floated in the void, quietly lying in the endless void. The source of the flickering attribute light was also from the imposing and terrifying dragon claw. This is a dragon claw that still has divinity. This dragon's aura is exactly the same as the dragon monument space that day. It's the ancient Aeon dragon. Lin Chen raised his eyebrows and grinned. Damn, Mr. Lu Sun is right. It's good luck to be handsome. He had heard the divine dragon wills in the divine dragon ruins mention that the ancient Aeon dragon had once disappeared without a trace in the Hell Galaxy during a space-time travel. It was very likely that he had fallen here. Who would have thought that Lin Shun would hit the jackpot and find the Heptagold deity lake? He even found the location of the ancient primordial Aeon dragon's death. The problem is, I can't King get there now. Lin Shun tried to break free from the frozen void, but he found that he couldn't move at all. He couldn't help but curse. This system, what version is it now? You still wanting to pick up attributes? Can't you just let me suck it over? System. This system has no function. Take it away. Next. Lin Shun. You're ruthless. Lin Shun thought of a countermeasure. If he released Xiaoling, or Zi Qianshou, they would also be restricted by the stagnant time and space. Oh, right. Use my Dragon King. With a thought, the Dragon King left Lin Chen's body. The five-piece god of war set glowed with golden light, and Lin Chen's power rapidly increased. Lin Chen's power level was 2 million Venerable Ones. If he didn't increase his power level to 10 million Venerable Ones to activate the golden body of the god of war, he wouldn't be able to resist the spatial pressure here. Boom! Lin Chen's Dragon King's majestic dragon body appeared. The dragon body was enveloped in a layer of golden divine light, and the endless dragon body appeared in the frozen space-time. When a majestic dragon tail stretched out, it just happened to touch the incomplete ancient Aeon dragon claw. Congratulations, host, for obtaining the ancient Aeon dragon bloodline attribute. Ancient Aeon dragon bloodline. Bloodline attribute points, 5 billion. Boom, boom, boom. A mysterious dragon-shaped pressure soared into the sky. It shook the frozen space-time, and a pale green dragon aura hovered above Lin Chen's divine dragon. Lin Chen could feel that the Dragon King was rapidly absorbing the ancient Aeon dragon bloodline. Two types of ancient Aeon dragon bloodline. How powerful can my Dragon King be? Lin Chen was shocked and full of anticipation. Dragon patterns started to appear on the golden dragon scales on the dragon body. The Yin Yang dragon's eyes were glowing with a pale green light. With the ancient Aeon Dragon as the leader, the heaven-raising Divine Dragon, the extreme Hell Water Divine Dragon, and the Yin-Yang Creation Divine Dragon as the appendages started to show the characteristics of the ancient Aeon Dragon. Suddenly, Lin Chun felt as if he had been electrocuted. A new kind of perception surged into his mind. Through the Dragon King's dragon eyes and perception, Lin Chun could see the abnormality of this space-time. In the endless void, there were countless flowing blue lines. They were like jade with silver threads, like the silk of spring silkworms, silver lines. These lines were thinner than hair, and they formed this world. The space-time of this world was filled with countless blue lines, and there was a hint of purple in the blue. Lin Chun was shocked as he mumbled to himself. These lines that are surrounded by blue light actually form this universe. Could it be that the ancient Aeon Dragon has the ability to see through the essence of the universe's space-time? See through the essence of the universe. Wasn't this ability too terrifying? Congratulations, host. You have successfully integrated the ancient Aeon Dragon bloodline. The bloodline ability is the same and can be strengthened at any time. Note, the ancient Aeon Dragon is one of the top ancient Aeon Dragons. If the host wants to strengthen it, he will have to consume more attribute points. When a system screen popped up, space-time shook. The world of blue light in Lin Chun's eyes began to shake violently. How many years has it been? An ancient and hoarse dragon roar slowly reverberated. It was the language of the ancient Aeon Dragons. Lin Chun had asked Princess Xingyue and Luo Shuiyue about it. Zi Qianshou was frightened as he sent a telepathic message to Lin Chun. My lord, there seems to be something wrong with that dragon claw. Its divinity has changed, and it seems to have a trace of consciousness. Zi Qianshou could not understand the language of the ancient Aeon Dragons. If that dragon claw still had consciousness, it would be 100 times more difficult to deal with in the top 10 on the Sage Talent ranking. 1. There is actually a human and a descendant of my race here. There must be a reason for everything. Forget it. I will pass on the last part of my dragon body to you. Lin Chun was shocked, but at the same time, he heaved a sigh of relief. Although the dragon claw of the ancient Aeon Dragon still had its divinity, its consciousness was incomplete. Otherwise, with its vision, it would be able to see through the fact that Lin Chun's Dragon King and his human form were one. Presumably, since a descendant of my race can come here, he should be qualified to deal with it. As the low and hoarse dragon roar reverberated, the dragon claw shone brightly. The majestic dragon claw that was like a nebula started to transform into an endless stream of light and entered Lin Chun's Dragon King left claw. Lin Chun sucked in a breath of cold air. It was actually fusion. In the blink of an eye, the Dragon King's left claw was like the sun and moon in the sky. The dragon scales transformed into a deep azure color and shone brightly. System notification. The ancient Aeon Dragon's claw has been fused into the host dragon body. The host dragon body is unable to completely refine the dragon claw. Every time the claw is used, the host dragon body will exceed its capacity. Unreasonable use may cause the host dragon body to collapse and die. Please use it with caution. Chapter 1785. Lin Chun sensed that when the ancient Aeon Dragon's claw merged into the Dragon King's arm, there was a strange sense of disharmony. There was also a sense of heaven-defying power. When the system screen popped up, a series of memories quickly merged into Lin Chun's primordial spirit mind. Peerless Dragon Race Bloodline Ability, Flash of Aeon. Using the Dragon Bloodline and Dragon Blood to unleash a flash that can freeze time and space and move. The moment it is activated, it can freeze time and space in a large area. If it is a strong enemy with a higher cultivation level, the range will be limited. Minimum cultivation level requirement to activate the Bloodline ability, 10 million Sacred Dragon Bloodlines. One Sacred Dragon Bloodline represented the power of a Supreme. 10 million Sacred Dragon Bloodlines was exactly the power of 10 million supreme. Lin Shen's Dragon King just happened to meet the standard. Lin Shen's mouth was slightly agape, fusing with the ancient Aeon Dragon's Claw, a new ancient Aeon Dragon bloodline ability. Flash of Aeon. Good fellow, this time it was not just good things that came in pairs, but four. A supreme-grade metal-type odd crystal, ancient Aeon Dragon bloodline, ancient Aeon Dragon Claw, and a bloodline ability. One trip to the Flowing Gold Zone, and he picked up 4 waves of opportunities for free. Lin Chen suddenly realized. No wonder there was no reaction when I first came in. It turns out that the ancient Aeon Dragon only passes it down to its descendants. The Dragon King absorbed the bloodline attribute light ball and obtained the bloodline of the ancient Aeon Dragon, which caused the Dragon Claw to have the last reaction. Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling were dumbfounded. Such a tyrannical and mysterious ancient Aeon Dragon Claw actually merged into the Dragon King's body without any hindrance. Zi Qianshou couldn't help but sigh. My lord is truly a god. Xiao Ling's face was full of worship. Who would have thought that the Hell Galaxy would have so many dragon race secrets unearthed by my lord? Lin Shen's opportunity this time was at the right time, place, and people, and it would be difficult to encounter a similar situation again. When the ancient Aeon Dragon's Claw merged into the Dragon King's body, the nearby space-time began to disintegrate, and time no longer stopped. Lin Shen gradually broke free from the shackles. Just as he was about to withdraw, a bone-chilling chill rushed from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. Lin Shen was alarmed. Why do I feel a chill in my chrysanthemum? I feel a sense of danger, but I don't think so. Why? A sudden thought appeared in Lin Shen's mind in a split second. Why would an ultimate existence like the ancient universe dragon fall here? This was an ancient dragon that was one of the best in the Dragon Clan. Even in the desolate antiquity era, it should have been invincible in the Divine River and other major star regions. What kind of powerful enemy could beat it to such an extent that it only had one claw left? Also, its last wisp of will had actually said that he was qualified to deal with it. Who was this it? At this moment, Lin Ming felt as if he had been struck by lightning. Oh no, it would be too lousy if he continued to analyze it. Lin Shen suddenly lowered his head. When the space-time stagnated and dissipated, a mysterious starry sky scroll appeared in front of Lin Shen's eyes. It was a huge pitch-black tail that looked like dragon bones. It was covered with barbs, and its demonic aura shook the heavens and suppressed eternity. Suddenly, the huge tail opened a pair of blood-red demonic eyes. Boom! The demonic aura that crushed space-time came crashing down like an avalanche. Bang! Lin Shen, who was covered in the golden body of the god of war, was sent flying on the spot. Lin Shen's pupils shrank as blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. My lord, leave this space. We can help you open the array formation and escape. Xiao Ling, and Zi Qianshou transmitted their voices to Lin Shen with trembling voices. The two of them had never felt such demonic aura before. Lin Shen was at a level that even the Demon Emperor's aura and divine aura couldn't suppress. This was the first time he was sent flying by an enemy's residual aura. Lin Shen stomped his feet, and divine light burst out. He instantly rushed into the molten gold zone and escaped from this space-time. His pure strength soared all the way. The higher his strength, the faster his speed of teleportation. What the hell is this guy? Lin Shen wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He had felt it from the descendants of the 4 Demon Emperors. Even the Demon Emperor's aura shouldn't be so terrifying. The demonic eyes on the pitch-black tail were slightly surprised, as if they were intelligent. It was surprised that Lin Shen didn't die. The next moment, it trembled and disappeared. A divine light soared into the sky, and Lin Shen rushed out of the blue space-time vortex. Almost at the same time, the majestic and violent pitch-black tail attacked with a monstrous aura and appeared tens of thousands of feet away from Lin Shen. It was like a giant that covered the sky. In front of it, Lin Shen was not even the difference between an elephant and an ant. Rip! Space-time was torn apart, and the pitch-black tail came crashing down toward Lin Chun. 10. Ultimate Heavenly Cycle Teleportation Formation. Super-dimensional teleportation divine technique. Streaks of powerful crimson light rose up around Lin Chun like jade dragons. They hovered above Lin Chen's head, and layers upon layers of silver light appeared beneath Lin Chen's feet to enhance his entire body. The crimson light flashed, and the silver light began to revolve. Lin Chen's body trembled. Boom! The pitch-black tail crushed countless powerful streams of molten gold energy, but it didn't hit Lin Chun. The crimson demonic eyes flashed, and it faltered slightly. Lin Chun disappeared from the inner region of the molten gold zone. You have it sent. Damn it, Dragon Tribe. A ghostly intent transmitted from the demonic tail as it muttered to itself. The demonic eyes turned and focused on another space. The indescribably massive tail trembled, and it instantly traveled hundreds of thousands of kilometers away. Its speed was so fast that it was countless times faster than the speed of light. In the outer region of the molten gold zone, the crimson light disappeared and the silver light shattered. Lin Chen's body appeared in the void, and the voice transmissions of the two reverberated in his mind. My lord, the energy here is too powerful. We can only move this far at our fastest speed. The spell formation needs another 15 minutes before it can be activated again. The energy in the eye of the spell formation has already been depleted. My lord, something's wrong. That thing seems to have caught up to us again. Run. Ling Er's cultivation base is overloaded, and she can't use it a second time in a short period of time. The voice transmissions of the two sounded at the same time. Lin Chen understood what they were thinking, and he immediately deactivated the War God set. In a situation where he didn't need to defend against the powerful energy around him, his fastest movement speed was his movement technique. Colorful flowing light, cloud shadow, heavenly light. Lin Chen stepped onto the cloud shadow, and colorful flowing light enveloped his body as he rushed out of the molten gold zone at an extremely fast speed. Lin Chen frantically ran for his life. He suddenly realized a terrifying name. That ghostly thing just now was most likely the demonic god king that the ancient god had mentioned before. The demonic emperors were the strongest of the demonic race. All of the demonic emperors pursued a single realm, and that was the demonic god king. There was only one demonic god king that existed in history, and that was the monster that came from a higher universe and alarmed the divine realm. Motherf asterisk Kerr. I was wondering who the F asterisk CK could have killed the ancient primordial Aeon dragon, and it turned out to be that ghostly thing. Lin Chen couldn't help but curse. Sure enough, the higher the opportunity, the more ridiculous the danger factor. Good things aren't so easy to obtain. This time, I've offended a demonic god king. If he could escape this time, he would be covered in dust. If he couldn't escape, not even a box of dust would be left. Chapter 1786. That pitch blacktail was most likely a part of the Demon God King. If it was a complete Demon God King, Lin Chen might not even be able to charge out of the molten gold zone. Moreover, a wounded Demon God King that had fled to the Divine River Galaxy would need the power of the God Realm's messengers to surround and kill it. When this thing was at its peak, it was simply unbelievable. Lin Chun had heard the ancient gods speak frankly about the origin of the demon emperors. Other than a small number of demon emperors who were born with supreme bloodlines, the current demon emperors of the demon race all relied on absorbing the remains of the demon god king to break through. The remains of the demon god king could create a demon emperor, and the remains could cause the fall of an ancient Taijo dragon. This thing was simply the strongest creature that Lin Chun had ever known. There was no other creature that could compare to it. This thing should be a fragment of the Demon God King's remains. Its power is too terrifying. Even with the War God set, I'm not sure I can win. Yo-yo! Outside the molten gold zone, Lu Mo suddenly frowned. Why did he feel a trace of the human race's holy power fluctuation? He felt a trace of the human race in the demon race's forbidden area was an illusion. A silver-robed figure flashed in front of Lu Mo and the other demon kings, shuttling through the void. He flew through the sky, his silver robe fluttering, making Lu Mo think he saw wrongly. Human race, rumble. Without any time to react, the 6 demon kings and Lu Mo were crushed by a wave of demonic energy. They didn't even have time to sense their own death. Even the strongest demon king of the demon race, who had monstrous power and strength, didn't have time to react before his death. Lin Chun felt a chill run down his spine as his hair stood on end. This damn thing is so fast. Monstrous demonic energy rolled over, covering the sky and stars, covering Lin Chen's perception. The skull-like demonic statue opened its bloody mouth and charged towards Lin Chun. Devour, devour. The eyes of the pitch-black tail let out a hoarse roar. Lin Chen's but went cold. This feeling of being targeted was like being stripped naked at any time. Phantom doppelganger, starburst. In the blink of an eye, Lin Chun released all of his doppelgangers. All the clones gathered the brand-new power of the annihilation star explosion. The most brilliant 9-colored star cluster rose and blossomed in front of the tide of demonic energy. Buzz, buzz. Time and space trembled, and heaven and earth were turned upside down. So hard, Lin Chen's expression changed slightly, and the corner of his mouth twitched. However, even with the strengthened annihilation starburst, with all his clones using it at the same time, this move could only stop the opponent for a moment. The strength of the strengthened annihilation star explosion had more than doubled. A doppelganger with the instant light doppelganger could unleash 5 moves. The 7 illusionary doppelgangers used instant light doppelganger, which meant that there were 35 moves of annihilation, starburst. Its power far exceeded the past, and even the reincarnation sage would lose a few layers of skin. There is no doubt that this wasn't the strength of a Saint Realm expert. It was this 100th of a second. Dragon King, Supreme Universe Dragon Claw. Lin Chen instantly released the Dragon King, and a majestic dragon body appeared out of nowhere. The Dragon King roared angrily at the sky and used his power to activate his left claw. A deep azure divine light flowed on the dragon claw as it fiercely shook the skeleton demon statue. Lin Chen immediately used the strongest trump card he had just obtained, the ancient Aeon Dragon's Claw. Chi, rip, bang, bang, bang. The demon statue suddenly burst open and continued to explode. The demonic energy collapsed and exploded. Outside the molten gold zone, thousands of stars collapsed and exploded. A strange glint flashed past the blood-red demon eyes, as if it was surprised that Lin Chun could withstand this attack. Then, its bloodthirsty and ferocious intent became even more intense. Crack, crack, crack. At this moment, Lin Chen's Dragon King body suddenly changed. The skin and flesh under the dragon scales split open, and python-like cracks spread all over the dragon body. Blood spurted wildly from the dragon body. Lin Chen was swept by the aftershock and retreated step by step. When he activated his defense, his sacred power rapidly dried up, and blood flowed from his ears and nose. My chi and blood have dried up. Oh no, this thing is too much of a burden to use. In the blink of an eye, Lin Chen gritted his teeth and used the Dragon King to possess him. Lin Chen opened his eyes again, and his yin-yang dragon eyes reflected a deep azure divine light as he stared at the majestic demonic energy that covered the sky. The scenery between heaven and earth changed again. It became like endless threads of blue light permeating the air. Rumble. The giant pitch-black tail swept over, crushing countless star fragments along the way. A large area of vacuum turned into chaotic nothingness, and space was completely shattered as it smashed violently toward the space above Lin Chen's head. Immediately, Lin Chen clapped his hands together, and a deep light surged between his brows and was released in an instant, enveloping the sky. At this moment, time seemed to stop as the giant pitch-black tail cut across the sky. Supreme Universe Flash. The endless threads of blue light in the sky converged into a straight line, and Lin Chen's body flashed along the straight line and disappeared without a trace. Bang! Bang! The giant pitch-black tail hit nothing, and the explosive power divided the starry sky into two, sinking the sun, moon, and stars, annihilating everything in the universe as if a universal storm had raged through the universe. Whoosh! Blood Continent, Supreme Demonic Palace. What you're worried about is completely unnecessary. When Luo Yao intimidated the four revered elders by herself, their worries were gradually dispelled. As I said before, the army I belong to will lead the first vanguard and only choose the sacred boundary of the human race, the Sage Monarch domain, to launch the first attack. In addition, as long as you don't violate the agreement, I won't interfere in any of your teams. The command is in your hands, but Luo Yao's cold eyes flashed with a cold light. After I attack the Sage Monarch domain, I want you to attack the various human domains and fight together on behalf of the demonic tribe. If you do anything strange, don't blame my demonic blade for treating you the same as the human race. Luo Yao's concession and threat made the four revered elders' expressions change slightly. However, before the four revered elders could answer, a special and sharp roar pierced through space and time. Dragons, die! The roar caused the entire blood continent to tremble, and many demonic kings felt a lingering fear. It was as if some supreme creature that could not be disobeyed had awakened. Hearing the roar, the four revered elders' expressions changed. Damn it, how did this thing wake up? Isn't that place a forbidden area? Even the demonic kings can't enter. The four revered elders' expressions changed several times. On the side, Luo Yao's expression suddenly changed slightly. She raised her cold eyebrows, and her voice was cold and solemn. What is this? The demonic tribe has this kind of demonic thing, and you haven't announced it? The four revered elders' expressions were different. Luo Yao said coldly, "If you don't want to say it, I have plenty of opportunities to make you say it." Whoosh! Luo Yao disappeared and immediately rushed to the location of the molten gold zone. Don't let her touch that thing. Oh no, let's protect it first. The four revered elders took action. On the other side, Lin Shun used Taizhou Flash and shuttled to a nearby star outside the Blood Continent. 90% of the Dragon King's dragon veins were empty. Other than pure power, the Dragon King's combat strength had decreased a lot. Firstly, he was injured, and secondly, the dragon veins were severely exhausted. Only pure power was left, and the best choice was to possess Lin Shun. Xiaoling Er's heart still had lingering fear, and she hurriedly said, "My lord, its speed is too fast. Let's quickly escape into that special space from before." The special space that Xiaoling mentioned was Lin Chen's beyond time and space plane. Unexpectedly, Lin Chen's lips curled up and arrogance overflowed. Escape. Escape my ass. How can I be in a dark horse organization if I don't fight back after being beaten? Lin Chen looked at the vast and majestic blood continent in the distance and laughed evilly. I wonder how great it would be if I declared war on the devil cultivator race. Zi Qianshou, Xiaoling Lin Shun. Life and death are insignificant. If you're not convinced, then do it. Chapter 1787. With a wave of her hand, Luo Yao cut off the dimension and tore through space and time. When she was the first to arrive outside the flowing gold zone, the pitch-black tail that was as deep as the sea suddenly stopped. Obviously, the two supreme experts of the Divine River Galaxy had sensed each other from the moment they met. The pitch-black tail sent out a faint wail. "You are incomplete product." Luo Yao frowned under the veil. the body of a demon? With such a powerful aura, you must have been in existence above the demon emperor when you were alive. Why is there no record of it in the history of the demon race? Immediately, Luo Yao pointed her blade at the pitch-black tail and scolded coldly. No matter where you come from, this is the territory of my demon race. If you leave calmly, this emperor will not hurt you. This thing was strange and unpredictable. The most important thing was that the high-end power of the demon race was gathered here. If a big battle was started, it might hurt other experts of the demon race. If this battle started, there would be many unfavorable factors before the battle against the human race. The pitch-black tail twisted violently, and a blood-colored head appeared in the starry sky. It said ferociously, "You are not a demon. You are incomplete." Luo Yao said calmly, "It doesn't matter whether I'm incomplete or not. This emperor is the strongest, and that's enough." As soon as she finished speaking, Luo Yao's eyes were completely stunned in the next moment. On the other side of the pitch-black tail, a star floated in the starry sky, and a silver-robed youth stood on it, completely attracting her attention. It was difficult for her to look away. Luo Yao's bright eyes under the veil showed a trace of emotion, revealing surprise and uncertainty. She thought to herself, "There's actually a human here? How can this human have my aura?" Lin Chen also saw Luo Yao's gaze. Their eyes met, and he could no longer look away. Lin Chen's face was full of emotion. The current Luo Yao was not on the same level as when she went to the mystic realm to roll in the sheets and do sports. Moreover, her temperament had undergone a great change. If it was said that the pressure she gave to ordinary creatures before was cold, indifferent, like an iceberg, now it was fierce, murderous, and could give people a sense of majesty and oppression that made them kneel down and kowtow with a glance. Demon Empress fully deserved to be called. Right now, she was like a high and mighty empress who was forever out of reach. The two of them finally met again after so many years. She has become even stronger. Compared to when she forced her way into holy prison back then, she is now at the peak of the creatures I have seen. Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling are also witnessed the Empress's peerless beauty. They had met Luo Yao once, and that was when she had forced her way into the Saint prison. The current her was even more powerful than before. Even if she didn't reveal her true appearance, just that awe-inspiring and dignified aura and pressure was enough to make one feel that she had changed completely. Lin Chen's lips moved slightly, but in the end, he still transmitted his voice. "Yao," the Empress replied coldly. "You know my name? Human, who are you?" When Lin Chen heard these words, he felt a faint stab of pain in his heart. He couldn't help but bristle with anger. "What? You really don't recognize me? Don't play with amnesia. It's not fun at all." Even though the Empress hated the human race, she didn't know why she couldn't bring herself to hate the young man in front of her. He was obviously full of flaws and weak, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. The demonic Empress said, Lin Chen directly interrupted her and said, "Don't me. You have changed. You've become so heartless. That night, I didn't reject you. I used all the unique skills of the Black Horse Club, and you even praised me for my good skills, enough standards, enough time, and good health. You even said that we were going to be a pair of little birds clacking during the day and having sex at night, and now you actually don't recognize me." The two servants, Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling, were dumbfounded. The amount of information was too much, and it shocked the two of them for an entire year. The demonic Empress said in surprise. Lin Chen was filled with righteous indignation. "Don't say any more. Do you think that just because you're the Empress of the demonic tribe, you can lift your skirt and not recognize me? What do you think I am? I am known as the little black dragon in the spring dreams of billions of girls, Lin Chen, and I'm not a casual person." The Empress wanted to say something, but Marshal Lin's face was filled with grief and indignation. "Is this your thousand-layer method of flirting? Bah! A scumbag who plays with other people's feelings and bodies. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you're the Empress. My Black Horse organization's taboo is white. Whoring. Empress Luo, who was inexplicably called a scumbag, was so angry that her entire body trembled. Her jade-like hand trembled, and she almost pulled out a knife to slash at him. This empress really wants to slash him with a knife. But what's with this irritating mood? While Empress Luo was bewildered, Lin Chen observed her expression and felt a chill in his heart. She can't have really forgotten me, right? She really doesn't even have any memory of me? Lin Chen thought to himself, I don't believe that she has really forgotten me. Then I can only use my spear skills to make her remember. Buzz. Whoosh. 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 At this moment, space was torn apart, and 4 demonic lights pierced through the void. Boom! Majestic and endless demonic power enveloped the sky, and the 4 great elders descended. A human? When Honorable Elder Silver Scorpion arrived, he looked as if he had seen a ghost when he saw Lin Chun in the distance. One had to know that this was the Hell Galaxy, not to mention a scene where the 4 great elders were gathered. Ordinary humans, even human true gods, shouldn't dare to set foot in here easily. But a human brat had actually sneaked in here? Wasn't this like seeing a ghost? Most importantly, this young man was actually able to withstand their pressure. This was too strange. Another honorable elder sent a voice transmission solemnly. The question is, how did it come out? Could it be that this human brat released it? Impossible. This human doesn't have the strength to do so. To forcibly take away that space, one has to be at least a human true god to do so. Could it be that this kid has the help of a human true god? Otherwise, how did he sneak in? Could it be that the dragon corpse has completely disappeared? Let's not bother about that human brat first. This thing can't be let the Empress. The 4 great elders exchanged glances and understood each other. Bang! At this moment, demonic aura billowed and exploded. When the ferocious blood-red head on the black tail saw the 4 great elders, it seemed to have sensed something important from them and attacked violently. Lin Chen reacted quickly and changed his movement techniques. He raised an eyebrow and said, "The situation is very right. Now is the time, Yo-Yo." Riding on the heavenly light, he activated his movement techniques and rushed toward the Blood Continent immediately. The Empress wanted to stop Lin Chun. The demonic god king's remnant consciousness growled. "Bloodline. Despicable. You have tarnished the sacred item. Damn it." The pitch-black demonic tail transformed into a blood-colored head. It opened its bloody maw, and a gust of bloody wind suddenly roared out. A bloody storm that reached the heavens swept over. This attack was on a completely different level from the one that blasted toward Lin Chun just now. This was a furious attack that would not stop until it was dead. Chapter 1788. Facing the remains of the demonic God King, the Empress frowned. "Since you've already attacked, there's no room for discussion." The Empress waved her hand, and the demonic blade slashed at the blood moon-like blade aura. Wherever the blood moon-like blade aura passed, it exploded with a terrifying suction force. The spinning blade aura swallowed everything. Light, space, time, life, celestial bodies, energy, everything was sucked into the blade aura and swallowed, leaving nothing behind. Everything withered, swallowing the sky and starry sky. The 4 elders understood, and each made a move, shattering the attack of the remains of the demonic god king. Bang! 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 There was a big explosion in the starry sky. Celestial bodies turned into dust, and space collapsed into a chaotic vacuum. With the top combat power of the entire demonic race, the remaining remains of the demonic god king were no match for them. Letting Lin Chun escape, the Emperor's heartstrings showed a trace of irritation. Get lost. Under the veil, the Empress's cold shout came. She used a rare bit of her strength and slashed down. Rip! The demonic blade cut through the night sky, and a blood rainbow suddenly appeared in the sky. The blood rainbow exploded with a terrifying suction force, sucking in the black demonic tail that covered the sky. Its defense was broken, and demonic blood spurted out. The four elders' faces changed, and they almost protected it. If it was killed by the Empress, they would be in big trouble. The Empress slashed again. The surging blade aura contained the power to destroy the world, and even light couldn't escape from its swallowing range. Seeing this, the expression of respected Elder Silver Scorpion changed slightly. He immediately revealed his half-demonic body, covered in scorpion shells, and with a step, he traveled through the void faster than the speed of light. The next moment, respected Elder Silver Scorpion suddenly turned around. A section of the scorpion tail smashed through the air, and demonic aura rolled. It met the blood-red blade aura head-on and blocked the Empress's attack. Respected Elder Silver Scorpion shouted, "Empress, this thing is related to many things. You can't kill it." The Empress said indifferently, "Why can't I kill something of the demonic race? This thing has nothing to do with the demonic race. We have to walk our own path, not follow the path of the demonic race and explore their bloody history. Respected Elder Silver Scorpion, if you don't get lost, I'll kill you too." Whoosh, whoosh, shwa. The other three revered elders stepped forward and tried to dissuade the Empress. "We don't know much about the demon race. This item can help us understand the demon race better. We can't kill it." "Empress, could it be that you're also blinded by a single leaf? This item is the most precious treasure of the demon race. Perhaps we can use it to threaten the demon race." The four great revered elders dissuaded the Empress, but the remains of the demonic god king were not a pushover. Its ferocious blood-colored head wriggled violently, as if it wanted to create an even stronger body. In the next moment, the pitch-black demonic tail swept out, shattering the light rays. Like a cosmic storm, it rushed towards the four revered elders. The situation was a mess. The four great revered elders blocked the Empress and the remains of the demonic god king. Meanwhile, the remains of the demonic god king attacked the Empress and the revered elders. Its attacks were filled with killing intent, as if it was venting the anger that had been suppressed for countless years. However, the Empress was limited by the overall situation of the demon race and did not show her true strength. In fact, even she herself did not realize that while she was dealing with the remains of the demonic god king, she was also multitasking and searching for Lin Chen's aura. From the unknowns, she could sense that this young human must be related to her somehow. She actually engraved a unique demonic mark on his body. Who was he? Would she really have a relationship with the human race? Impossible. The Empress released her perception and found that Lin Shan was actually rushing towards the bloody continent. She could not help but be stunned. That human went to the demon palace? What does he want to do? The entire upper echelon of the demon race was now gathered on the bloody continent. That was a lineup that could rival the upper echelons of the human race's 36 domains. It was enough to attack the human race and exterminate a race. Was he, a human saint, not afraid of death? Whoosh! The Empress's beautiful figure turned slightly and actually escaped into the air. The four great revered elders were dumbfounded. That ruthless and arrogant Empress who looked down on all living beings actually fled at this moment. Take advantage of this moment to suppress this fellow. Before this crazy woman comes back to her senses, don't let it be exposed. Use all your strength to suppress it. Under the veil, the Empress looked at herself in shock and astonishment. I was following my instincts just now. I actually wanted to protect him. This unbelievable behavior even made the Empress feel more and more ridiculous. On the other side, Lin Shan stepped on a cloud and flew madly towards the bloody continent. He even flipped through a few classic books in his hands, such as 100 Ways to Use the God Slayer, fancy posturing postures personally taught by the standalone king, how to rush your chapters correctly in female cross-dressing, the leading speech of the Dark Horse organization, and so on. Looks like there's only one way left to get out of here. The moment Lin Shan closed the book, he took off his robe and bared his upper body. Bang! A meteor-like light fell onto the bloody continent like a divine light descending, shocking the entire bloody continent. What's going on? Before the first wave has subsided, another wave rises. Great revered elder just went out. Is he back again? No, it's the aura of a human. Many demon-human experts and demon-human kings were bewildered. The four great revered elders' mighty army and the experts under the Empress all looked in the direction of the demon-human palace. Above the demon-human palace, a handsome and muscular figure faced all the demon-human race with his upper body naked. His power sank into the sun and moon, and his aura swallowed the world. A pair of sword-like eyebrows were raised, and his starry eyes were shining brightly. There was a cynical smile on his face, and a faint golden divine light floated down from heaven and earth to decorate his body. He was like a god descending to the mortal world. With his back facing all the supreme experts of the demon-human race, he was still fearless. Countless experts were shocked and tongue-tied. It was actually a human? Many powerful demon-human kings were filled with fighting spirit. How dare he? A human dared to kill his way here? Who gave him the courage? Even a true god of the human race wouldn't dare to come here alone. The moment before the encirclement broke out, Lin Shun activated his primordial spirit and sacred power and suddenly shouted coldly, "All demon-human race, listen up." The cold shout was like a dragon's roar, earth-shattering and earth-shattering, spreading throughout the bloody continent and resounding under the starry sky. Lin Shen's left thumb was pointing at his tiger shoulder, and the faint bite mark that was like a crescent moon was faintly discernible. Then, a purple light suddenly lit up behind Lin Shen's back, and the ancient talisman that the Empress had personally carved appeared. All the demon-human race were shocked. It was actually carved by the Empress herself? What was the relationship between this boy and the Empress? Lin Shun pointed to the sky. The corners of his mouth curled up, and a wild aura overflowed as he shouted, "I, the most handsome man of the human race, Lin Shun, hereby announce, the demon-human Empress, I'm going to sleep." Silence. A strange silence. At this moment, the bloody continent was completely silent. God Slayer talent notification. Currently, those who are hostile to the host, demon-human race. Number range all. Chapter 1789. Lin Shen's primordial spirit sound transmission resounded throughout the entire starry sky, reverberating through the horizon. "Empress, this young master is asleep. This young master is asleep. Asleep." The entire starry sky actually reverberated with Lin Shen's sound transmission. All the demon cultivator felt as if they had been struck by lightning. Not only the upper echelons of the Demon Cultivator clan in the Blood Continent, but even the Demon Cultivator clan outside the Hellstar system could hear it clearly. In the entire Demon Cultivator clan, no one was not angry, no one was not shocked. When it reached the ears of the Empress who was rushing over, under the veil, a trace of crimson appeared on her cold and beautiful face for the first time. She bit her white teeth lightly. Her beauty was indescribable. Lin Shun pointed to the sky, his aura rising steadily, unstoppable. Lin Shun turned around to face all the dumbstruck Demon Cultivator clan and shouted coldly, "The Empress of the Demon Cultivator Luo Yaoer is my Lin Shen's woman. In the future, I, Lin Shun, will be there for all eternity. She is mine in life, and she is my ghost in death. Anyone who refuses to accept it, stand out. I, your father, have won." This soul-stirring and domineering speech caused all the experts of the Demon Cultivator clan to be enraged. Needless to say, the Empress's side took her as their belief and acted according to her principles. The Demon Cultivator clan, who was previously slightly afraid of Lin Shen's methods, immediately exploded upon hearing these words. On the side of the four great elders, the Empress's influence had also seeped into them, and there were even more admirers of the Empress. Those talented Demon Cultivator clan geniuses had been fortunate enough to see the Empress's true appearance, and even the most beautiful women had fallen in love with her. If there was an empress in this world, there would be no more peerless beauty in the mortal world. Even the experts under the four great elders' command had more than just a little respect for the empress. She was currently recognized as the #1 expert of the demon cultivator clan, and no one was convinced of her status with her strength. Now, this human actually publicly tarnished the reputation of the empress. Unforgivable. Even if he died, he had to pay the price. This child dares to tarnish the empress, destroy him. The human race is nothing. We are going to destroy the sacred boundary of the human race. A mere human, not even a true god, dares to insult our empress. Where did this stray dog come from? Lin Shun. This prince has never heard of it. Where's my saber? Where's my saber? Kill him. Boom. The entire blood continent trembled violently. All the demon cultivators were rioting. When Zi Qianqiu and Xiao Ling witnessed the scene, it could be said that their scalps went numb. Fear and trepidation were not enough to describe a billionth of the excitement of this trip. Once again, the Lord did not play by the rules. He deserved to be called #1. Their Lord was the first man in history to step into the territory of the demon cultivator. Their Lord was the first expert in history to face the entire Devil Cultivator clan and shout out the slogan "Sleep with the Devil Cultivator Empress." This was too crazy. None of the people who did this were human. Whoosh! The space burned with raging flames that blotted out the sky, and a giant palm that blotted out the sky crushed toward Lin Shun. The surging demon saber chi was like a hurricane, instantly covering all of Lin Chen's escape routes. It was airtight, and the saber cut through the stars. The demonic light was like a giant pillar that descended, covering the stars and the moon as it blasted toward Lin Shun. Hell-like lava broke out of the ground and raged like a tornado. Sky Demon Hand, Great Tao Flame Demon, Demon Butcher Saber. Countless attacks were aimed at Lin Shun. Lin Chen's eyes shone brightly as he laughed wildly. There is no more suitable time than now. God Slayer. Buzz. Above Lin Chen's head, orange divine light circulated, and an orange talisman suddenly bloomed. Boom! Streaks of reddish-gold dragon-shaped energy erupted from Lin Chen's body and danced wildly in the sky. His pure strength was as majestic as an ancient god, swallowing the galaxy and destroying the 9 heavens with one breath. 5 million supremacy force, 10 million supremacy force, 15 million supremacy force, 20 million supremacy force, 30 million supremacy force, 40 million supremacy force. It was still climbing. For any cultivation level, the more one needed to cross over, the more terrifying the accumulation would be. However, Lin Chen's God Slayer talent this time was far more powerful than before, and breaking through was as easy as crushing dry weeds. Just the number and talent level alone were on a completely different level from before. Lin Chen's pure strength soared all the way. His primordial spirit materialized, transforming into hundreds of primordial spirit palaces that stood like a group of palaces, shaking half of the Hell Star system. The divine light was inextinguishable, eternal. Lin Chen's primordial spirit power temporarily broke through to the perfected primordial spirit realm. It was a completely different level from a mid-stage primordial spirit realm. In the blink of an eye, an invincible saint energy surged into Lin Chen's body, shocking all the demon kings. They had never felt such a terrifying saint energy of the human race. Lin Chen's body shone with hexagonal starlight, breaking through like a hot knife through butter, and 132 saint points shone around his body. Lin Chen's shoulders shook, and he released a little of his saint energy, reversing time and space. Bang! 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 The 9-colored saint light swept across the sky in an instant, and all the attacks of the demon race were easily shattered by Lin Shun. The bloody continent trembled continuously. If not for the barriers set up by the four great revered elders, this wave of attacks would have been enough to shatter tens of thousands of stars like the bloody continent. The demon kings of the four great revered elders' camp narrowed their eyes. They stared at Lin Shun. The young man's naked upper body shone with hexagonal starlight, like a divine light rising from the east, illuminating the entire Hell star system and making it no longer dark. 132 saint points. What kind of freak is this human? Didn't they say that the human race is the same as us and can only open 100 saint points? Could it be fake? No, if it's fake, he can't possibly take our attacks. Don't F Astra's King care if it's real or fake. Can he fight all of us alone? He has tarnished the name of the Empress. This kid must be killed. After a short moment of shock, the demon race was replaced by an even more violent uproar. The host has activated the advanced orange talent, Godslayer. Consumed 200 million talent points. Target hostile to the host. All demon race. Overall increase in strength. 92,520 times. Advanced orange talent, Godslayer. Calculation range increased. Cooldown greatly reduced. Cooldown, 29 days. Note, the Godslayer talent has been strengthened to the advanced orange talent, making up for the shortcomings of the previous version. When a host uses this talent to kill enemies, if the enemy's realm is lower than the host's, the number of growth attribute points will not decrease. Shortcomings made up. Now, the Godslayer talent would drop both growth attribute points and non-growth attribute points. The chaos and noise caused by the heavens did not affect Lin Shun. The Sage Realm had 6 levels of life and death, 7 levels of Receiving Star, 8 levels of Sacred Heart, and 9 levels of Kai Tian. Under normal circumstances, including the Tai Saint Point, Lin Shun had 104 Saint Points. Now he had 132 Saint Points. In other words, the Godslayer talent had achieved an unprecedented feat of crossing 3 major realms. The current Lin Shun was at the 9th level of Sage Realm, Kai Tian. Lin Shun clenched his fists and closed his eyes slightly. He was intoxicated and yearning. A wisp of Saint Chi suppresses the 9 heavens, and a wisp of Saint Chi subdues ghosts and gods. The Saint Chi splits the sky. This is my, Lin Chen's, Kai Tian's cultivation base. When he opened his eyes again, Lin Chen's monstrous battle intent erupted. Chapter 1790. At Lin Chen's current stage, the 53rd Saint Point and beyond were Saint Points that were temporarily broken through by the Godslayer's innate talent. Without the support of a cultivation technique, Lin Chen's full circle life and Death Realm cultivation base was able to unleash Saint energy comparable to 10 million Zune Realm experts. 7th layer of the Receiving Star Realm, with 61 to 70 holy acupoints opened, one could double the basic holy power. That was 30 million venerables worth of Saint energy. 8th layer Saint Heart, opening 71 to 80 Saint points, could double the base Saint energy and obtain the powerful recovery ability of the Saint Heart. Just temporarily entering the Saint Heart complete realm could unleash Saint energy equivalent to 60 million venerables. Saint Heart complete realm was comparable to late quasi-god. But now, Lin Shun was in the heaven opening realm. 9th layer Saint, heaven opening realm, according to one's potential and foundation. Opening 81 to 90 Saint points would increase one's Saint energy by 400 venerables and above. Even Lin Shun couldn't estimate how powerful the last 2 heaven opening realm Saint points that he opened with the Godslayer were. Perhaps he could only find the answer in a real battle. In the next moment, thousands of demonic moons bloomed around Lin Shun. Moonlight filled the sky, and each demonic moon contained the fatal killing intent of the fallen Saint King. 1,000 demonic moons. A beautiful woman with an enchanting figure, who still retained her charm, held a magic wand in her hand and coldly scolded. Her cultivation base was far superior to most of the demonic tribe. The high priest has made his move. Follow the high priest and destroy this deceitful human. The army of the four great elders was boiling. The high priest of the demonic tribe was above the demonic king. He was a powerful existence that was second only to the four great elders and the empress. In the human race, only a few people could fight against him. They had the combat power of the reincarnation saint realm, and each of them could fight against hundreds of saint kings. Boom, boom, boom. With the empress's army at the lead, a large number of demonic tribe kings launched the first wave of attacks. Then, the four great elders' army followed closely behind. As Lin Chen spoke, he flicked his finger and activated his saint energy. A 9-colored ray of light flashed. Rip! The 1,000 demonic moons sank, and the demonic light shattered the sky. The enchanting and beautiful Grand Priestess made a muffled sound in her throat, and her body was pushed back, her face pale. In the blink of an eye, he tore apart the demon race high priest's all-out attack. Both sides were simply not on the same level. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The power of his primordial spirit trembled and swept out like a hurricane, transforming into a primordial spirit-burning dragon. The blazing dragon, whose entire body was burning with primordial spirit flames, opened its mouth and roared in all directions of the bloody continent, releasing an endless primordial spirit dragon roar. Bang, bang, bang. Sonic booms rumbled as a terrifying energy storm came from the Hellstar system. Lin Shun took a step forward and swung his fist to meet the attack. His fist shook the galaxy, and his leg was like a dragon, breaking the 9 heavens with a single step. Countless Fiend King's attacks were blown apart by Lin Shun. Lin Shen's fist shattered the river of stars, and his leg swept through the universe. His pure strength was like a divine dragon descending into the world, destroying everything in his path. He even used the power of his primordial spirit, the pure strength of his divine body's flesh shell, and didn't even use a few cultivation techniques to completely destroy the huge attacks of the entire fiend race's upper echelons. Lin Chen's pure strength had exceeded the range of 50 million supremes. He was a true quasi-god physique refiner, and this was under the premise that he didn't use the war God set. Damn, why is this kid so fierce? He can actually shatter all the attacks of the Grand Priestess and us head-on. He's an expert. We're no match for him. Then why aren't we leaving? Leave my ass. He can suppress us. But isn't he just a plate of loose sand? That's not how you fight. Grand Priestess Yi, try to cut his middle. Cut my ass. I can't even see his shadow. The bloody continent and the nearby stars were in an uproar. Countless fiend race's army began to fly out, but they were in a mess, completely fighting blindly. Inside the Fate Plant pouch, Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling who were lucky enough to witness this moment, were both dumbfounded. Although the upper echelons of the fiend race couldn't unify, the Lord had actually tied down the entire fiend race's highest combat power with her own strength. Solo against the fiend race? That was too ridiculous. Just as the Grand Priestesses of the various races were about to bring out their stronger killing weapons. Stop. When the Empress's cold and majestic voice reverberated in the minds of every fiend race member, many fiend race members immediately stopped fighting. A snow-white wrist that was as delicate as mutton jade appeared in the void like a ghost. Her slender fingers grabbed Lin Chen's arm and stopped him. The Empress's figure appeared, and Lin Chen's eyes flashed for a moment. She was wearing a loose black robe, a cloak, and a veil. Her true appearance couldn't be seen, as if it would always be like this. The Empress said coldly, "No matter what your origin is, this is not a place where you should be. If you dare to attack again, no matter what secrets you know of this Empress, you will be the next ghost under the Devil's Blade. The Fiend race is not a place for you humans to behave atrociously." Lin Shen laughed self-deprecatingly. How cold, Empress! The Empress's heart trembled inexplicably. Hearing his self-deprecation, she felt a faint stab of pain, and her 5 fingers slightly loosened. Boom. Lin Shen stepped on the cloud shadow, his body riding the heavenly light, and broke free from her restraints, rushing in the direction of the fiend God King's remains. He still had a lot of things to say to Luo Yao, and he wished he could pull her over and tell her everything. But now that she couldn't remember him, everything was nonsense. Lin Shun wanted to destroy the fiend god king's remains first. The Empress was furious, and the fiend kings of the bloody continent rose into the sky one after another, wanting to join the battle with the Empress. The Empress said in a deep voice, "All of you retreat. There is no room for you to fight here. You will only affect this Empress's strength here. Whatever happens next, leave it to this Empress and the 4 great elders." The Grand Priestesses and the Fiend Kings looked at each other and knelt on one knee to accept the order. Yes, this subordinate accepts the order. After instructing, the Empress's figure flashed and chased after Lin Shun. Lin Shun activated his movement technique at full speed. His current cultivation was particularly terrifying, and his movement technique's speed had risen, far surpassing Shaolin Er's current spatial divine technique. With a movement of his movement technique, he moved 1,000,000 miles in an instant, exceeding the speed of light in an instant. The 4 great elders of the demonic race control the Hell Galaxy. It's impossible for them not to know that the ancient Taizhou dragon has fallen here. Lin Shen's primordial spirit consciousness quickly deduced. Now that the demonic race's situation was unified, their target was the human race. Logically speaking, immediately unifying and gathering forces to attack the human race was the right choice. This choice should be beneficial to all the demonic race. There was no reason for the 4 great elders to delay the meeting with Luo Yao until now. Attacking the higher-ups of the demonic race was unrealistic, and Yao was there to protect them. Faint 9-colored starlight rotated in Lin Shen's palm. His saint acupoints shook, and the source of sacred power condensed. Lin Shan sneered. When these 4 old things saw the remains of the demon god king, it was like an abandoned child finding a wild father by the roadside. They want to monopolize this thing, but Brother Chen won't let them. I'll blast them to smithereens first. Wong, wong, wong. Lin Shen's palm was enshrouded in magnificent 9-colored starlight, spinning slightly above his palm like a wheel. When the world-destroying fluctuations faintly transmitted out, it was shocking. Almost in the blink of an eye, Lin Shun arrived at the chaotic battle between the 4 great elders and the demon god king's remains. At this time, the demon god king's remains were at a disadvantage, suppressed by the 4 great elders. The 9-colored starlight, rotating wheel condensed in an instant. Lin Shun swung out with one hand, and the 9 tribulations stars flashed out of his hand. Chi! Chi! An extremely dazzling 9-colored starlight cut through the night sky, heading straight for the demon god king's remains. The 4 great elders' expressions changed slightly. Human race. Chapter 1791. 9 Tribulations Star. With a wave of his hand, Lin Shun threw out the 9 Tribulations constellation and sent it flying. Chi! Chi! An extremely dazzling 9-colored starlight streaked across the night sky, heading straight for the demon god king's remains. Things happened too quickly. The 4 revered elders' attention was still on the demon god king's remains, so they didn't immediately notice Lin Chen's approach. Although Lin Chen's current cultivation was very terrifying, in front of the demon god king's remains and the 4 revered elders, everything was still unknown. One had to know that the 4 revered elders were at the same level as human true gods. Ordinary battle techniques and cultivation techniques were useless against creatures of this level. Unless Lin Chen also reached the level of true gods, if he made a move, he would be leaving openings for the opponent. It was fine if he didn't make a move, but once he did, he had to use his trump card. With Lin Chen's current cultivation, even a peak quasi-god would have to treat the 9 Tribulations star seriously. At this time, dark red blood chains wrapped around the pitch-black demonic tail, tightly binding it. The blood-colored head formed by consciousness was imprisoned, constantly twisting and roaring in anger. Demonic blood flowed, and demonic energy filled the sky. Every drop of demonic blood seemed to contain thousands of demons, and could create a demon venerable, or even a heavenly demon venerable. Just as revered Elder Silver Scorpion and the other three revered elders forcefully restrained the demon god king's remains, his vast and imposing demonic body turned, and a section of his scorpion tail shone with silver light, facing Lin Chen's nine tribulation star with an evil smile. Petty tricks, wishful thinking. Before he finished speaking, the nine tribulation star that streaked across the night sky trembled, and in an instant, it split into five. What? Revered Elder Silver Scorpion's mouth twitched. Splitting into five, and the power didn't decrease? There was such an ultimate technique? As a revered elder of the demon race, even I can't use it. Myriad poison miasma. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion opened his mouth and spat out a large amount of poison, covering the sky. The nine tribulations star crashed into the poison. Boom, boom, boom. Nine-colored starlight that reached heaven and earth bloomed, illuminating the entire hell galaxy. Five magnificent and majestic nine-colored light pillars bloomed like five-star spears that pierced through the dimensions. They rotated slowly and silently devoured all energy. When the apocalyptic energy ripples spread out, just a little bit of the ripples was enough to shake a large number of celestial bodies in the center of the Hell Galaxy, quietly turning them into dust. Lin Chun was sent flying by the aftermath of the impact. He took a few steps in the air and stabilized himself. What a powerful force! God slayers will always be gods. In the next moment, a crazed and sharp light flashed through Lin Chen's eyes. A series of attribute light balls flashed under the starry sky. The appearance of the attribute light ball meant that someone was injured. Now, Lin Chun stomped on the ground and activated Ambilight. His body flashed in the sky. The Empress, who had just caught up, had a slight change in her expression. Human, stop your actions immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The Empress coldly rebuked Lin Chun, shaking the starry sky. Lin Chun turned his head and said with a face full of disbelief, "You actually yelled at me?" The Empress was speechless. This person, why was he so shameless? She gave him face, but he didn't want it? Facing the four revered elders, she directly drew her sword without saying a word. He was the only one who had warned one person so many times. Lin Chun casually threw a sentence at her. "Believe it or not, I'm helping you now. Rumble." Lin Chun formed hand seals, and the 132 hexagonal stars on his body flashed intensely. They were as bright as the stars and as bright as the sun. His sacred power started to crazily condense. The Empress's pupils shrank. What was he trying to do? All of his sacred power was actually starting to riot. In a few flashes, Lin Chun swept to the top of the demonic god king's remains. Lin Chen's palm was surrounded by five lantern-like, nine-colored star clusters. His face was pale, but he was extremely excited. The nine tribulation stars' light pillar was torn apart by the four revered elders. Amidst the shattered and magnificent starlight, the four revered elders' angry shouts reverberated. "Just a human brat who hasn't become a god? Get out here. Our demonic god race is not a place where scum like you can barge in and mess things up. Before destroying the human race's sacred boundary, I'll start with you, young man." Among the four revered elders, only revered Elder Silver Scorpion showed a trace of injury. He, who was originally suppressing the demonic god king's remains, was distracted by Lin Chen's main attack. This was the first time in countless eras that he was injured. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion bared his teeth and said viciously, "Catch that, brat. I'm going to." Lin Chen's laughter sounded. "What are you going to do to me? You four old fogies. You can protect me once, but can you protect me a second time?" As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Chen's gaze locked onto the enchanting revered elder with a human face and a snake's body. "Enough. I won't let you do whatever you want anymore." With a soft sigh, when space was distorted, her slender hands were soft as if they were boneless, and her fingertips were surrounded by a purplish-black demonic light. She gently grabbed at Lin Chun. At that moment, the space around Lin Chun seemed to be frozen. Even someone as strong as Lin Chun couldn't move. Lin Chun smiled mysteriously and whistled frivolously. Lin Chun, will always like Luo Yao. Behind Lin Chun, the Empress's shoulders trembled slightly, but she didn't stop moving. Host has selected target. Consume 50 million top-grade talent points to activate Shadow Shift talent. Whoosh! Lin Chun's figure trembled, and the space changed. An orange light flashed. The Empress saw with her own eyes that the young man in front of her had turned into one of the 4 revered elders. Revered Elder Dragon Snake. Where did he go? The Empress and revered Elder Dragon Snake were shocked by Lin Chun's means once again. When they looked around, they realized that he was actually at revered Elder Dragon Snake's previous position. The 3 revered elders were shocked to the core by Lin Chun's position swap. In a flash, Lin Chun snapped his fingers and detonated the Annihilation Star Cluster in his hand. Annihilation Star Explosion. The infernal star system flashed with a brilliant light that was like the eruption of star veins. The next moment, rumble, boom, boom, boom. More than half of the Hellstar system shook violently. An unprecedented energy storm swept through the central area of the Hellstar system. Countless stars were affected and turned into dust. The 4 revered elders were forced to retreat. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion was the most seriously injured. After being attacked for the second time, his injuries were even more severe. Like a chain reaction, Lin Chun's Annihilation and Destructive Explosion talents were triggered. This was Lin Chun's first time using Annihilation, Star Explosion in his true form, and in the form of a God Slayer. However, the price to pay was that Lin Chun's Saint Point Saint energy was gone. His true form was not an illusion. An illusion only needed runes to recover Saint Points, but his true form could not. To recover the Saint Points, it would take him at least 500 years to do so. Therefore, this star explosion would cause Lin Chun to be unable to use his Saint Points in battle. It's so uncomfortable. This is the feeling of having my Saint Points emptied. I don't want to experience it a second time. Lin Chun gritted his teeth. But it's okay. That's not the only trump card I have. Whoosh! A ray of divine light shone on heaven and earth, and the golden light of the god of war shone in the universe. Lin Chun's body was shrouded in divine light. The divine light danced like dragons, and the clouds rose. His strength sword, God of War set, activate. This time, Lin Chun activated the God of War set with 50 million revered points of strength. This would allow the 5-piece God of War set to reach an unprecedented height. Chapter 1792. Oh no, we won't be able to protect this demonic tail. Let's protect ourselves first. The 3 honorable elders closest to the center of the Annihilation Star explosion had no choice but to retract their demonic aura back into their demonic bodies to defend against Lin Chun's star explosion. When the dark red blood chains broke, the demonic God King's corpse regained its freedom. However, it was also hit by Lin Chun's Annihilation Star explosion. The terrifying energy had completely torn apart its broken scales. Oh no! He has used up all of his sacred power. A hint of panic appeared on the beautiful face under the veil. The female empress sensed that Lin Chun had used all of his power in that attack. He had used up all of the sacred power in his 132 sacred points. She knew very well what losing all of his sacred power meant to a sage. However, before the empress could even find Lin Chun's figure, bam, air currents collapsed. Hurricanes rose, galaxies disintegrated, golden light scattered, and endless divine light illuminated the starry sky. When the female empress looked over, she was stunned for a moment. A series of explosions erupted from the massive demonic tail. Endless golden light overflowed, and rays of dazzling divine light shot out. The tall figure clad in golden armor rained down his fists like a torrential downpour. The fists were ferocious and invincible, and they sent the demonic God King's corpse flying into the nine heavens. Bam! 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 Each of Lin Chen's fists was filled with divine power that could stir up galaxies, and the demonic God King's corpse was torn apart. The shockwaves from the collision of their fists were like terrifying storms in the universe. As the aftershocks of the fists shot out, they melted stars and shattered star cores wherever they passed. From afar, it was like a dazzling firework in a sea of stars. The fists opened up 3,000 worlds, and the god of war suppressed the universe. This attack was one of the billions of divine powers of the god of war. The four honorable elders were dumbfounded when they saw this. The massive demonic god king's corpse was torn apart. Host has received 950,000 high-tier saint-level blood essence, 230,000 high-tier saint-level essence, 42. 2 million top-tier heavens path points, 22 million saint-level rune energy. The demon god king's corpse crazily dropped a huge amount of elemental balls. The attributes were so high that Lin Chen had never seen anything like this before. Even the HP attribute he dropped had become Advanced Sacred. The high drop in attribute points stimulated Lin Chen's punching speed to increase by a notch. After the previous battle, all 5 pieces of the God of War set had already been charged to 99%. After the Ares set was 90% charged, every 1% increase was extremely difficult. In addition, Lin Chen was equipped with the Godslayer armor. His pure strength was enough to shake a true god. This was the true meaning of divine power. Lin Chen laughed heartily. Awesome. This is the pure power of a true god. It's too damn satisfying. This was the first time Lin Chen possessed a power that could rival a true god. It was not as simple as the buff from the Ares set. Most importantly, it was the terrifying buff from the advanced Orange Godslayer talent. After all, this was the power that he had exchanged with all the higher-ups of the demon race. Superimposed on the Ares set, he had broken through the final barrier. Otherwise, Lin Chen would not be able to reach such a level of pure strength if he used the Ares set in his normal state. Bam! 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 Lin Chen swung his fists wildly. Each punch penetrated the demon god king's corpse's defense. Previously, the 4 revered elders had considered its value. Even if they injured it, it was mainly to imprison it. Lin Chen would not be polite with it. His attacks were filled with killing intent. Lin Chen punched through the giant tail again. Blood and flesh burst open. Gee! The demon god king's corpse let out a sharp scream. The demon race on the bloody continent felt an inexplicable throb. Break! Lin Chen pulled with both hands. His divine power exploded. Chi! Rip! The demon god king's corpse cracked all over. Giant python-like cracks instantly spread. The entire demon tail could not withstand the heavy blow and was torn in half by Lin Chen. Lin Chen's Dragon King released its dragon tail and swept all the attribute light balls in the sky. A treasure chest with a greenish-yellow glow fell into the void. Lin Chen grabbed it with one hand. Host has received a Godhead attribute treasure chest. Open to receive. Energy Godhead. Immortal Godhead Fragment, 2/3. It can heal injuries instantly and become immortal. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. As expected of the demon god king's corpse, it had not died yet, and it had already dropped such a top-grade treasure. The second immortal Godhead Fragment was in his hands. Stop! Don't let this kid continue to do whatever he wants. Demon True Form. Seeing this, the 4 revered elders were completely enraged. Boom! The monstrous pressure was like a brilliant demonic aura, swallowing heaven and earth. Among the 4 revered elders, 2 had actually revealed their true forms. The demon true form was a realm that only the 4 revered elders could use. Once used, it meant that they had to use their true combat strength. Even the demon emperors did not dare to underestimate the demon true form of the 4 revered elders of the demon race. The millions of feet true form was as majestic as a star. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion's true form was like a ruthless and cruel silver scorpion. Revered Elder Dragon Snake's true form was a two-headed dragon snake. One head was a dragon, and the other was a snake. It swallowed and spat out a storm like the sun and moon. Phantom Doppelganger. The phantom light descended one after another. Lin Chun dared to fight, but he was also clear-headed. The moment the four revered elders aimed at him, he immediately urged the phantom doppelganger to collect the attribute light balls dropped by the four revered elders for him. Dragon Snake Storm. Revered Elder Dragon Snake opened his bloody mouth, and a breath turned into a million-feet storm. Dragons and snakes danced wildly, and the evil aura was monstrous. A terrifying pressure rolled over. This was the first time Lin Chun felt the combat strength of a human true god pressing down on him. Old fogies of the demon race, I want to see how strong you are. Lin Chun's eyes shone with golden light. His shoulders shook, and a layer of divine light enveloped his body. Golden body of the god of war. Lin Chun urged the god of war set's characteristic. The Demon King's remains did not chase after him. Instead, it turned around and punched toward revered Elder Dragon Snake. Chi! Rumble! The fist wind pierced through the galaxy and was evenly matched with revered Elder Dragon Snake. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion crawled and moved at lightning speed. He stepped on a sharp silver light and swept toward Lin Chun. Just as Lin Chun was about to exchange blows with revered Elder Silver Scorpion, "Be careful, my lord," Zi Qianqiu and Xiaoling suddenly exclaimed. Whoosh! Space distorted, and a blade light flashed. The blood-red blade light split heaven and earth. It flashed like a ghost, jumped through the void, and slashed toward Lin Chun from behind, directly hitting him. Clang! 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 The blade light twisted, and Lin Chun's body exploded with the sound of metal colliding. Puffed. When Lin Chun vomited blood, the golden body of the god of war around him dimmed and lost its color. His entire body fell from the sky like a meteor, forcing Lin Chun to retreat with one move. The great empress of the demon race had personally made a move. She had been observing just now. When Lin Chun was blasted away by the blade, revered Elder Silver Scorpion wanted to chase after him, but the great empress of the demon race blocked him and said coldly, "Leave him to me. You guys are in charge of dealing with that demonic creature." After speaking, she did not wait for revered Elder Silver Scorpion to agree and chased after Lin Chun. "Silver Scorpion, don't bother about that kid first. That damn bottom line is about to split and escape." Revered Elder Dragon Snake coldly shouted. The four revered elders did not chase after Lin Chun with the great empress. Their eyes met, and instead, they chased after the heavily injured Demon King's remains. Chapter 1793. On the other side, Lin Chun was blasted away by the empress. If not for the protection of the golden body of the god of war, that slash would have taken his life. The Dragon King in Lin Chun's body frantically activated the immortal creation bloodline ability. The pure yin-yang dragon chi in his body surged, healing Lin Chun's injuries. After finally stopping, Lin Chun, who was floating in the air, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and panted heavily. Lin Chun couldn't help but curse. F***CK. Is this woman crazy? It's fine if she doesn't understand, but she's serious? That slash almost took my life. That slash was at the level of a true god. It messed up Lin Chun's meridians and blood. He almost lost his life. As soon as he finished speaking, the black-cloaked figure appeared in front of Lin Chun like a ghost. Lin Chun was so angry that he gritted his teeth. "Oh, the Empress didn't kill me with one slash, so you want to finish me off with a second slash?" The Empress was indifferent. "Your special divine weapon's defensive power is very good. I control my strength well and won't let you die." Lin Chun was so angry that he laughed. "So I have to thank you?" Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling held their breaths in the Providence plant pouch. Although the Empress had escaped from the previous battle, she was facing the most powerful opponent, the Empress of the demon race. Although the relationship between the Empress and the Empress was ambiguous, that Slash was not at the level of mercy. Not to mention winning, whether he could leave alive today was another matter. Facing Lin Chen's question, the Empress said indifferently, "Up to you. If I didn't make a move, you would have died in the previous battle. If you don't act well, you won't be able to fool the four Supreme Elders." Under the veil, the Empress looked at Lin Shan with a complicated expression and said, "Take advantage of the fact that the four Supreme Elders don't have time to make a move now and run." Lin Shan was shocked. "Act? You're not going to kill me?" "Yao did you remember?" Lin Shan was overjoyed. Just as he was about to rush over and embrace her, a blood-red light flickered, and the demonic saber pointed directly at Lin Shan. The Empress replied coldly, "I don't know you. No matter what your relationship with me was in the past, I am now the demon sovereign. Nothing is more important than the revival of the demon race." Lin Shan clenched his fists and said seriously, "Yao, give me some time. I will definitely make you remember." The Empress sighed faintly. "So what if I do?" Lin Chun was stunned. The Empress laughed self-deprecatingly. "So what if I really remember? Even if I truly loved you, so what? The demon race has been oppressed for countless years, and all their hopes are on me alone." Her gem-like, beautiful eyes flashed with a cold light. "I will not allow any possibility of interfering with the revenge of the demon cultivator race. I'll only give you one chance. If you don't run, you'll die." Cold, murderous intent enveloped Lin Shan. Lin Shan narrowed his eyes. He could feel that Luo Yao was ready to kill him. Seeing that Lin Shan was silent, the Empress twisted her hand, and the demonic saber emitted a demonic blood-red light, devouring all the energy in the world. Lin Shan was involuntarily sucked in by the demonic saber. The tip of the saber pointed directly at Lin Shan, and the corner of his mouth twitched in shock. Clang! Lin Shan clasped his hands in the air and was forced to catch the demonic saber with his bare hands. When his fingers held the saber, the sharp light invaded his body. Even the powerful golden body of the god of war couldn't withstand it all. As blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, Lin Shan was severely injured. If this continues, even the immortal creation can't withstand it. System, activate the immortal divine fragment. With a single thought from Lin Shan, the quintessence fragment in the system that was swirling with a greenish-yellow divine glow suddenly shone brightly. Consumed 100 million top-tier heavenly Tao points to activate the immortal divine fragment. Host's injuries have been healed. Healing complete. Lin Chen's injuries healed in the blink of an eye. Finally, he couldn't help but curse. F***CK? It's for real. The Empress scolded coldly. Then hurry up and leave. Lin Chen clenched his teeth and fell into a stalemate. Luo Yao didn't remember him. Moreover, even if she did awaken her past memories, she might not stop the demonic tribe for him. Wait a minute, what's that? Lin Chen stared at the eyes under the veil. Luo Yao, Er's eyes were green and purple, and her beautiful side profile showed signs of struggle and pain. Lin Chen was shocked. Her primordial spirit is mixed with something else. With the support of Lin Chen's God-Slayer talent, the temporary breakthrough to the primordial spirit realm was no small matter. In close contact with the Empress and unguarded, Lin Shan sensed many different primordial spirit wills from her body. Through the eyes under the veil, Lin Shan felt a cold, angry, and murderous hostility. This hostility was vast and endless, and it was not accumulated in a day. It was as if it had been silent for thousands of years and was about to erupt today, and there was no way to suppress it at all. 2. No, more than 3. There are many primordial spirit wills in her body. Could it be the demonic tribe's doing? Speaking of which, when Yao left last time, she said that when she met me, she was her purest self. After leaving, She returned to the demonic tribe to accept the inheritance. What kind of inheritance is this? Lin Chun was shocked. Many primordial spirit wills coexisting in one body. Being possessed? That's not right. If there were many primordial spirits coexisting in one body, then she, who had lost her memories, would not let him go. The situation seemed to be far more troublesome than Lin Chun expected. Don't force me, the Empress muttered to herself, swayed her jade-like hand, and suddenly struck out with her palm. It hit Lin Chun's chest and sent him flying, breaking away from the restraint of the demonic sword. Lin Chun retreated from the void, gritted his teeth, and the golden light of the god of war surged again. Go quickly. The Empress shouted coldly at Lin Chun, and the snowy dimples under the veil revealed a sad smile that was close to despair. Even if you fight with me here, what's the point? Boom! At this time, the end of the battle came from afar. The four elders had collected the remains of the demonic god king. There was not much time left for the two of them. Lin Chun realized that there was no possibility of taking Luo Yao away or changing her mind now. Once the four elders gathered, unless Luo Yao was on his side. Otherwise, with his own strength, whether or not he could win was one thing, but once the time limit of the God Slayer talent disappeared, Lin Chun would have no chance of winning. Lin Chun knew very well that the reason he could temporarily fight against a deity realm opponent was because of the God Slayer talent and the stacked God of War set. Lin Chun suddenly said, "Your demonic race's next target is the human race's sacred boundary, right?" He grinned. "Since you can't remember, then we can only meet on the battlefield next time." The Empress's expression softened, and she pretended to be cold. "At that time, I won't be merciful." Lin Chun smiled. "Perhaps the one who will be merciful will be me." The Empress was silent and sighed faintly. Lin Chun looked at her deeply. "You have been saving me all this time. Next time, it will be my turn to save you. The current you is still the Empress of the demonic race, and I still prefer my Yao. Your Majesty, let's meet on the battlefield." Lin Chun stepped back, stepped on a ray of divine light, and turned into a golden light that pierced through the void and disappeared. The Empress stared in the direction he left and did not say anything, standing quietly in the same place. After a long time, the arrogant and cold aura reappeared, and the demeanor of a little girl from before did not reappear. "I hope we will never meet again." Chapter 1794. Lin Chun removed the God-Slayer state and put away the war god set. He sat cross-legged on Shaoling, Space Saint artifact, the silver snow treasure gourd. Lin Chun urged his doppelganger to refine the huge amount of attribute points he had obtained earlier. His withered saint points were quickly filled up, and he actually recovered to his peak state in a very short time. He charged toward the 53rd saint point unstoppably. Lin Chun clicked his tongue in wonder. As expected of the strongest of the demon tribe, the four revered elders, and the remains of the demon god king, just the attribute light balls that dropped easily made up for the consumption of my annihilation starburst, and it even overflowed by who knows how many times. Lin Chun felt that the opportunity to break through was close. As long as he absorbed all the attribute points that dropped this time, he would definitely continue to explode. Lin Chun couldn't help but sigh again. The advanced orange rank God Slayer innate skill was truly heaven-defying. Not only did the innate skill increase by a level, it also made up for the previous shortcomings. During the process of using the God Slayer innate skill, Lin Chun wouldn't receive any attribute light balls of growth type. Now that the shortcoming had disappeared, it meant that every time Lin Chun used the God Slayer innate skill to fight and defeat or injure a strong enemy, it would drop an attribute light ball of the same level. How could an opponent that could make Lin Chun use the God Slayer innate skill be ordinary? This time, the increase in the God Slayer innate skill would be like a rolling snowball, rolling bigger and bigger. Zi Qianshou said worriedly, "My lord, the demon tribe is gathering their forces to attack. the human tribe. The sacred boundary will definitely face an unprecedented calamity. Xiaoling, Er's eyes moved as she looked at Lin Shun. My lord, should we temporarily avoid the danger this time? The scale of this war is too big. Let's leave the Divine River Galaxy. This time, when they sneaked into the Hell Galaxy, the two of them witnessed the demon tribe's plan with their own eyes. They also felt an unprecedented pressure from the demon tribe's overall combat strength. That's right, even if their lord had a heaven-defying talent. But this kind of unprecedented war was definitely not a level that a single person could turn the tide. At least, now is not the time. Even the gods of the human tribe might not be able to influence the direction of this war. The war of extermination would affect the entire situation. The existing devil race and dragon race would definitely not stand idly by. It was even possible that they would join forces to deal with the humans. Zi Qianqiu and Xiaoling knew that their lord was still very young, but he had a killing move that could rival a true god's battle prowess. This kind of foundation was unprecedented in history. It could even be said that Lin Shun was perhaps the only possibility for the human race in the sacred boundary to make a comeback. At the very least, if Lin Shun was willing to break through to the Saint King realm, he would be invincible in the Divine River Galaxy. Lin Shun said in astonishment, Why are you running? I don't care if they are from the demon tribe or demon tribe. If one comes, I'll kill one. If two comes, I'll kill two. Xiaoling Zi Qianqiu replied, Just get used to it. Several days later, Xiaoling and Zi Qianqiu finally returned to the Divine River Galaxy after crossing more than half of the galaxy with Lin Shun. Lin Shun had spent several days absorbing the attribute points and was preparing to find a place to go into seclusion. Crack! Suddenly, a storage ring in Lin Chen's arm shattered. Lin Shun said in surprise, Oh, this is the communication storage ring that little Qianqian gave me. Since the communication storage ring shattered, it meant that Bai Qianqian was in danger. Bai Qianqian was just an auspicious beast and did not have much battle prowess. She had received a message from her family before the battle at the Founding Era to leave Lin Chen's side and return to her family's dimension. Lin Shun threw the shattered storage ring to Xiaoling and immediately said, Ling head to the dimension marked on this storage ring immediately. Xiaoling took a look at it and saw a faint silver glow in her palm. After a moment, she nodded and said, Okay, it seems that the sacred boundary is not too far away. We can reach in 4 hours. Lin Shen knew that although Bai Qianqian was mischievous, cunning, and cute, she could distinguish the severity of the matter. Something big must have happened for this lass to use this method to inform him. In the extreme north of the Divine River Galaxy, in a star vortex, the star sand was dazzling, and a faint red sun shrouded like a star ring, covering a large amount of aura. A huge star shining with a golden luster was suspended in the air. Golden branches and jade leaves were decorated with snow and dew, and a sea of flowers was surging with holy light. The spirit sea was silver, and the clouds were steaming. Providence condensed into a huge funnel shape. Almost every piece of yellow soil on this star was shining with a golden luster. It was like a holy land, nurturing endless vitality. If a mortal consumed that endless spirit spring, their lifespan would be extended, their foundation would be strengthened, and becoming an emperor or a saint would be a cinch. The entire star was practically filled with treasures. This kind of extravagance was unique in the world. This was the dimension that the auspicious beast belonged to. Its providence was concealed, and its aura was hidden. Very few experts could discover it. Even for someone as powerful as Jiang Taishu, it was like finding a needle in a haystack if he wanted to deduce such a magnificent paradise. Auspicious beasts were one of the most special species between the beast race and the dragon race. They could affect providence and mobilize it. They were the rarest life forms in the world. Other than auspicious beasts, no other life form could nurture a star into such a miraculous existence. Just encountering one auspicious beast was enough to create countless life forms. Yet the number of auspicious beasts in this dimension was in the tens of thousands. At this moment, tens of thousands of auspicious beasts in human form were gathered at infinite boundless mountain, all of them with grave expressions. The old man in the lead, leaning on a walking stick and with a dragon's beard, sighed softly. The barrier is about to break. To think that we would actually welcome such a day. The invading enemy, this time, was no small matter. Even the spatial passageway to their dimension was severed. This was not the work of ordinary experts. It won't. A crisp, tender, and pleasant voice sounded. A petite young girl in a white dress stood out from the crowd of auspicious beasts. The young girl's blue, jade-like eyes were filled with spirituality. Her red lips parted slightly as she bit her white teeth. Qian has already informed Master. He will definitely come and save Qian. The young girl was by Qian. Her words stirred up 1,000 ripples. Expecting the human race to come and save us? By Qian, did the human race knock your brains out? You actually exposed our coordinates to the human race. That's right. Have you forgotten the human race's greed and bad nature? The human race will come and save us. It's more likely that he will enslave us. We would rather die in battle than fall into the hands of the human race. The auspicious beast's reactions were intense. Bai Qian instantly became the target of public criticism. Bai Qian's pretty face was pale. She wanted to retreat, but when she recalled Lin Chen's appearance, a fearless courage rose in her heart. She pouted her lips and mustered her courage to shout. Master Lin Chen wouldn't do such a thing. Just as her voice fell, bang, bang, a black hurricane tore through everything, and a sky-covering shadow tore through the sturdy dimension entrance. The auspicious beasts immediately prepared for battle, breathing in and exhaling a storm-like aura. Even if they risked their lives, they had to fight their way out. However, when the sky-covering shadow descended upon the dimension, all the auspicious beasts realized who their opponent was. Pairs of eyes opened from the darkness of nothingness, enveloping the entire dimension as they transmitted hoarse voice transmissions. Auspicious beasts gathered here from all sides. If you surrender, I can guarantee your lives. It was actually the Dark Shadow tribe attacking. Chapter 1795. The dark shadows covered the entire auspicious beast plane as if even light could not escape from this space. Auspicious beasts, surrender, and you may still have a chance of survival. Your abilities are important to the revival of the dark shadow race. The dark and grand voice was like rolling thunder, causing the space around the auspicious beast plane to tremble. The auspicious beasts were in despair. No wonder they were discovered. It's actually the Dark Shadow race. The Dark Shadow race's unique, innate talent allows them to freely travel through the void. They are the most agile creatures in the three-dimensional universe. No wonder our plane was exposed. The Dark Shadow race is the only existence that can ignore our barrier and travel through the void. The Dark Shadow race that came today were all experts. There were at least 10,000 of them. With such a large number of Dark Shadow race experts, they did not even have a chance to escape. In this world, there were very few creatures of the same level who could compete with the Dark Shadow race in speed. The dragon-bearded elder frowned. When he stared at the sky, his old face drooped and he sighed. This day has finally come. Our race has finally settled down for a period of time. Are we going to become the slaves of another race again? The next moment, the dragon-bearded elder's eyes burned with monstrous anger. Everyone, although our ancestors came from different galaxies, they have settled down here. This place has long been our home. We, the auspicious beasts, have long had enough of being slaughtered and enslaved by others. Today, we can only die standing. There are no living auspicious beasts kneeling. The elder's angry roar awakened the fighting spirit of countless clansmen. An old steed crouching in the saddle with great ambition. Whoosh! A dark shadow took form. The ink-like dark waves twisted into a human form and turned into a cold, black-robed man with an evil smile. Stubborn fool who doesn't know the difference between life and death. Attack. Capture them alive. Boom. Beams of dark shadows descended from the void, as if black ink was flowing down from the sky. They twisted into void monsters and quickly rushed toward the auspicious beasts. The auspicious beasts transformed one after another. Some were black turtles, exhaling vigorous air, and their turtle shells were as tall as mountains. Some are like cheilants, with wild postures and ferocious and majestic scales. Some were Pishio, with dragon horns, wings, and a long tail. Their bodies were 1,000,000 feet long and soared into the sky. The auspicious beasts had different forms. Even if their combat power was not as strong as the dragons or beasts, they had accumulated a huge amount of resources over a long period of time, and their realms were not low. Tens of thousands of auspicious beasts rose up to resist, risking their lives to resist. For a moment, the Dark Shadow tribe was unable to suppress them. However, an endless number of dark shadows continued to attack. It was impossible to see how many there were. The leader of the black-robed shadows laughed evilly. None of those who dare to disobey the new Shadow King will have a good ending. Its gaze turned and fell on the last group of old and weak, auspicious beasts. Finally, it locked onto a beautiful figure in a white dress. The black-robed man cackled evilly. "Come, let Uncle examine your body. I haven't tasted a female, auspicious beast yet. It's time to expand my experience." A black shadow flashed over, and the older generation of auspicious beasts turned pale with fright. Oh no, the innate dark shadow leading the group was heading towards them. The dragon-bearded elder took a step forward with a cold expression. "You don't put me in your eyes." The innate dark shadow laughed. "Old thing with just you? Crawl." The innate dark shadow stretched out a claw at lightning speed. The black claw that covered the sky tore through space, cutting off all connections with the outside world and enveloping the group of old and weak auspicious beasts. Bai Qianqian's tears flickered. Her red lips parted slightly, and her small face flushed red. She used all her strength to shout, "Master, if you don't come, I won't help your small tree become a big tree in the future." Rumble. Space and time trembled. The dark claw that tore through space was actually stopped. A golden fist descended from the sky and pierced through the dark shadow's claw. The auspicious beasts couldn't help but be stunned. That innate dark shadow's cultivation was equivalent to a peak sage king. He was an existence that surpassed the sage kings of the human race, the heavenly demon venerables of the demon race, and even the dragon kings of the dragon race. His attack was actually so easily countered. The black-robed man who was stopped in space cried out in horror, "Who are you? How dare you obstruct the Dark Shadow tribe? Do you believe that I'll wipe you clean tomorrow and steal until your entire family goes bankrupt?" The darkness dissipated, and the sky shone with a golden radiance, bathing the auspicious beast plain. In front of Bai Qianqian, a handsome young man in a silver robe fluttered in the wind gave all the auspicious beasts an inexplicable courage. It was as if only this one person could hold up the world. Lin Shun turned around and stood in front of her. He teased, "Little Qianqian, you've improved. I just arrived, and you dare to threaten me. If I don't beat you up for 3 days, you'll be able to climb the roof and tear down the tiles." Bai Qianqian jumped forward and crashed into Lin Chen's arms, causing Lin Chen's heart to ripple. This little girl's development speed was catching up to Shun Ling Xuan. Bai Qianqian cried, "Stinky master, if you don't come, Qianqian will be eaten by this bad guy." Lin Chen laughed. "Then aren't you afraid of being eaten by me?" Bai Qianqian smiled through her tears and made a naughty face. She smiled slyly and said, "You don't dare. Big Sister Scarlet said that you're a pervert, but don't have the guts to be perverted." "Ha ha ha!" Lin Chun pretended to be angry. "What? You dare to doubt my guts? See how I'll deal with you later." The girl's face was like a peach blossom, her cheeks flushed red. I don't believe it. Hee hee. I'm your number one meritorious servant. You can't bear to part with me. Moreover, you don't even dare to take me when I'm delivered to your door. When Bai Qianqian's mother saw the relationship between the two of them, she was bewildered and probed. You're the Lin Qian that little Qianqian mentioned? Lin Qian smiled. Auntie, you're too polite. I'm familiar with little Qianqian, so you can just call me Lin Qian. The dragon-bearded elder snorted with prejudice. There's no good in the human race. Human Lin Qian, didn't you save us because you coveted our abilities as auspicious beasts? Do you want to capture us as slaves too? Lin Qian was calm and collected, his eyes as deep as the galaxy. He waved his hand as he spoke. Old senior, I don't care about your prejudice. I came here this time for Qianqian. As for you guys, I just saved you along the way. Whether you want to run or commit suicide later, I'm not interested in knowing. Now, I just need you to stay away. Otherwise, if you explode later, you'll have to bear the consequences. Lin Qian's attitude and temperament made the dragon-bearded elder exclaim in surprise. His impression of him changed greatly. He was also an old monster who had lived for an unknown period of time. He observed Lin Qian's words and expressions. His tolerance and temperament were definitely not a deceitful and evil person. The auspicious beasts heard the order and immediately retreated. Lin Qian stood on the mountain peak with his hands behind his back, completely showing the sign of an expert who couldn't stand the cold. His eyes were like sharp swords as he glanced at the innate dark shadow in the void, the corners of his mouth rising slightly. The black-robed man was bewildered. He frowned and said, Lin Qian, could it be the human that the new Dark Shadow King knows? He was so angry that he laughed. Human Lin Qian, do you also want to fight with me? I'm acting on the orders of my new Dark Shadow King this time. All the auspicious beasts must be brought back. Lin Qian patted the dust off his shoulders and threw out a sentence casually. Don't the Dark Shadow race know how to piss? Take a look at yourself. Okay, are you worthy to fight with me? Lin Qian's body suddenly erupted with killing intent that soared to the sky. Not to mention you. Even your new Dark Shadow King is a little brother in front of me. Chapter 1796. The black-robed man was instantly enraged. What arrogance! This human was way too arrogant. He even dared to humiliate their new Dark Shadow King. Let's take it down first. Swoosh! Swoosh! 3 dark shadows twisted and turned into human figures. They were 3 innate dark shadows that were not inferior to the black-robed man. One of them even gave off a very profound sense of oppression. Bai Qianqian's mother worriedly sent a voice transmission to Lin Qian. Lin Qian, be careful. The innate dark shadow in the middle is half a step into the innate dark shadow monarch. The innate dark shadow monarch was equivalent to the human race's reincarnation sacred realm and the demon race's high priest. 3 pinnacle sacred kings and 1 half-step dark shadow monarch. This lineup, coupled with the dark shadow race's strange and unpredictable talent, was more than enough to rob the human race's rank 9 sex. The black-robed man looked at the half-step monarch in the lead and said in surprise, Lord, why are you here personally? The half-step monarch in the form of a youth sneered, Idiot, look around. Only then did the black-robed man notice that apart from their dark shadow army, the entire auspicious beast realm was covered with a layer of azure blue dragon breath prison. The surface was even covered with a layer of silvery white spatial light. Blue waves like the tide, water dragons dancing wildly. Torrential rivers rolled up the sky. Water turned into a prison that swallowed the 9 seas. Extreme prison, heavenly prison. The Dark Shadow race's unique talent of traveling through space was impossible to guard against. When Lin Qian arrived near the auspicious beast realm, he immediately set up the extreme prison, heavenly prison, to prevent the Dark Shadow army from escaping. The black-robed man's pupil shrank. He actually blocked our escape route. Snap! Lin Qian raised his hand and snapped his fingers. Divine light appeared out of nowhere, and golden divine light flashed with red clouds and covered the surroundings, protecting all the auspicious beasts. Lin Shun said indifferently, "I've never taught Lin Ken to invade other races. If he did, I'll teach him a lesson. But before that, I, Lin Shun, will teach all the members of the Dark Shadow race who have come to invade us today a lesson." The half-step monarch sneered and said, "Human Lin Shun, stop dreaming. Today, all the elites of my Dark Shadow army have come. There are 10 human saint rulers who can rival you. Do you think you could defeat us all by yourself?" Lin Shun clicked his tongue in wonder. "Beat you? Don't flatter yourself. If you can withstand the phenomenon of my breakthrough, I'll let you go immediately." Boom! A holy light that illuminated the entire universe bloomed from Lin Chen's body and slowly rose up. The entire realm began to tremble, welcoming a wave of holy power that could shatter thousands of stars, suppressing all eternity. All the members of the Dark Shadow race were shocked. From Lin Chen's body, they sensed an unprecedented fluctuation of saint power. Throughout the history of the human race, there was no such level of saint power. Mountains and rivers toppled, and the earth's crust shifted. The celestial bodies were on the verge of collapse, and the sturdy plane began to dim. A 9-colored holy light vortex appeared, spinning like a wheel. The group of innate dark shadows were terrified. It was as if an apocalyptic energy was brewing. "Oh no! Everyone, gather and defend." The young-looking half-step monarch was so shocked that he almost couldn't maintain his human form. A sea of dark shadows surged out of his body to defend himself. In the next moment, with Lin Shun as the center, the holy power fluctuations continued to rise. The mountain sea prison couldn't even compare to 1/10,000th of it. It was as if billions of volcanoes were erupting. It was as if billions of dragons were born. Around Lin Shun, eternal holy power was refracted. All of it accumulated and rushed toward the 53rd and 54th saint points. "Explode 2 saint points open." Lin Shun roared angrily. Boom! Bam! Bam! Dazzling hexagonal starlight flashed around Lin Chen's body, illuminating the entire realm. The holy power fluctuations were like a storm, instantly erupting and sweeping through the sun, moon, and stars. Bam! 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 The 9-colored holy light vortex exploded crazily. Lin Chen's 53rd and 54th saint points were opened at the same time. All of the Dark Shadow Tribe members were almost blown away by the explosion of the holy power. All of the auspicious beasts felt their scalps tingle, and the soles of their feet turned cold. Just the phenomenon brought about by breakthrough was enough to kill a Saint King. What kind of monster was this breakthrough? It's not over yet. After accumulating the attribute drops from the true God level, it'll be even more powerful. Lin Shen laughed heartily. His arrogance was unmatched. When he opened his arms, the wind and clouds changed again. The 55th and 56th saint points opened for me. The 9-colored holy light vortex trembled, and the half-step monarch almost peed his pants. He's still going to do it? What kind of monster is this guy? Boom! Bam! 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 The terrifying energy fluctuations were like pillars of light, exploding into the sky. The entire auspicious beast realm was completely shattered by Lin Shun. All of the treasures in the auspicious beast realm turned into attribute light balls and fell into the void. All of the auspicious beasts were still fearful. Fortunately, this divine light protected their bodies. Otherwise, with their cultivation, the number of people who could survive that explosion could be counted on one hand. Lin Shen's 55th and 56th saint points opened, and the aurora-like hexagonal starlight shone under the starry sky. In Lin Shen's Tai space, the corresponding Tai saint point appeared. A total of 112 saint acupoints shone brightly like stars around Lin Chen's body. Lin Chen mobilized all the blood and qi in his body, condensing the last strand of high-grade Saint Qi essence into his Saint Acupoint. Boom! Bam! The shocking explosion continued. The Dark Shadow tribe couldn't hold on until the last moment. The dark tide broke through their defenses, and they were all blown away. A large number of Dark Shadows disappeared. The Dark Shadow tribe wasn't good at defense, and the entire Dark Shadow tribe was heavily injured. The auspicious beasts were shocked and felt a chill down their spines. Too monstrous. What kind of background did this human have? If he had single-handedly turned the tide and killed all of the Dark Shadow tribe, perhaps they would only marvel at his abnormal combat strength. But this guy was actually able to heavily injure the Dark Shadow tribe just by relying on the aftermath of his breakthrough. How could such a monster be born in the history of the human race? Bai Qianqian puffed out her proud chest. The young girl was proud of her success, and her beautiful eyes couldn't hide her longing and pride for Lin Shun. The young girl thought proudly in her heart, "Did you see that? My master is 10,000 times more powerful than you think. He has good taste. There's nothing to say." The Dark Shadow tribe's army wailed, and many of them were seriously injured by the explosion. If it was a group of human sage kings or dragon kings of the same cultivation level, they wouldn't have ended up in such a sorry state. The Dark Shadow tribe's innate advantage didn't lie in their defense. This caused Lin Chen's acupoint explosion to almost kill a large number of them. And this was under the premise that there was a half-step Dark Shadow King holding the line. Lin Chen took a deep breath. His breath was like a dragon, and he absorbed the qi into a vortex. When he absorbed all the holy energy back into his saint acupoints, the 116 saint acupoints on his body glowed brightly, emitting boundless light. Lin Shun had reached the late stage of the life and death realm. A perfect ending. Chapter 1797. Lin Chen's heart trembled as he spoke with uncontrollable excitement. Late life and death realm, 58 saint points. The elemental light orbs and the remains of a demon god king. After a huge battle, they helped me break through 5 saint acupoints. Originally, Lin Shun had 52 saint points. If not for the battle with the demonic god race, he could only break through to 53 saint points at most. Breaking through a saint point in the life and death realm, the increase in saint force and magnitude seemed to be the same, but the difficulty of breaking through a saint point was much higher than the previous one. The higher the foundation, the more powerful the accumulation. But with the elemental light orbs that he picked up in the battle, Lin Shun had made a qualitative leap. One could imagine that in the future, if Lin Shun was able to kill a true divinity-level opponent, he would most likely break through several realms consecutively. Lin Shun clenched his fists and exclaimed, "In the life and death realm, every time you open 2 saint acupoints, you will gain double the total amount of saint power. My transformation realm saint power is comparable to 1,000,000 Zun power, and opening 2 saint acupoints will double the amount of saint power. Including the buff from the Heart Sutra and the extreme God Possession talent, opening 2 saint acupoints will give me 5,000,000 Zun power. Lin Chen's life and death realm saint points would give him 5,000,000 venerables worth of saint force every time he opened 2 saint points. This was because this was not a temporary breakthrough of saint points, but a real cultivation base with the Tai Sky concealing technique and extreme God possession. Lin Shun had broken through 6 saint points this time, and the saint force he obtained was comparable to 15 million venerables. Including the original foundation, Lin Chen's saint points alone could unleash more than 20 million venerables worth of saint force. Life and death realm combat power surpassed reincarnation saint realm. He had directly rushed to the level of quasi-god early stage. Since ancient times, in the 3-dimensional universe, only a monster like Lin Shun could achieve such a crazy leap. Including the high-level saint force blood I obtained from the demonic god king's remains, Dragon King's Saint Dragon bloodline has just reached 99 million venerables, and his body refinement strength has also reached 4 million venerables. Fighting with a true god opponent, his overall combat power has really soared. Lin Shun sighed slightly and withdrew his thoughts in the blink of an eye. His gaze swept across the dark shadow race. Lin Shan floated in midair and said to the leaders of the dark shadow race with a smile, "What do you think? I didn't kill you. Are you guys touched?" The trembling half-step monarch hurriedly kowtowed. Touched, Lin Shan, what? Do you dare move? Half-monarch, no, no, no. I don't dare to move. I don't dare to move. Lin Shan, Not touched. Little brother, there's something wrong with you. Half-monarch, I was wrong, brother. Lin Shan smiled like a Chinese rose. Seeing the sincerity in your eyes and the fact that you offered up your storage ring, I'll consider sparing your life. The Dark Shadow race had a lot of resources. They traveled all over the world and plundered far more treasures than experts of the same level. Therefore, Lin Shan accepted it out of kindness. In the end, Lin Shan even used the extreme prison, heavenly prison, to imprison the entire Dark Shadow army. Their lives were at his mercy. Lin Shan looked at the auspicious beasts. The crisis is over. You can leave at any time. Lin Shan glanced at them and removed the dense Taishi divine light around them. The auspicious beasts looked at Lin Shan in disbelief. They even felt like they were dreaming. They were facing the threat of extinction just now, and it was over just like that. The Dragon Elder looked at Lin Shan in shock. Lin Shan of the human race, you? Lin Shan waved his hand impatiently. Don't dawdle. I'm not interested in you. By the way, the demon race is about to attack the human race. Even if you want to run, don't go near the sacred boundary of the human race. Otherwise, I won't be interested in saving you next time. The price for my help is very expensive. The auspicious beasts looked at each other, their hearts full of disbelief. This was the first time they had seen a human who didn't covet them. An auspicious beast could double the foundation of an 8th-rank sect of the human race. The auspicious beasts present now were the accumulation of many generations of inheritances in the Divine River Galaxy. There were tens of thousands of them. With this boy's means, he could forcibly suppress and enslave them. The Dragon Elder still said in disbelief, Sir Lin Shan, are you really going to let us go like this? Lin Shan glanced at him. What else can I do? The world is in chaos right now. I'm not interested in taking you burdens as far away as possible. Lin Shan wasn't interested in the auspicious beasts. That wasn't the case. On the contrary, he knew their value very well. But now he was wanted by the Demon Emperor in front of him. The entire demon realm was eyeing him covetously, and the demon race's army was about to arrive. How could he have the time to deal with these guys? Bai Qianqian stood proudly beside Lin Shan, patted her chest, and said proudly, See, what did I say? Master Lin Shan won't enslave our auspicious beasts. When the auspicious beasts looked at each other, Lin Shan said indifferently, Little Qian, there's no time to talk nonsense with them. Go back the way you came. You know the route to the immortal dawn ancient ruins. Take your family there to take refuge. Bai Qianqian replied with a blissful as she called out to her mother. Staring at the extreme prison, heavenly prison floating in the sky, Lin Shan's eyes flashed with fighting spirit. I'm going to the Dark Shadow race, personally. According to Lin Shan's understanding of Lin Can, if he became the new king of the Dark Shadow race, it would be impossible for him to order the Dark Shadow race to invade the auspicious beast plane. Little Shadow Lin Can had followed Lin Shan for a long time. No one knew Lin Shan's personality better than him. And Lin Shan had confirmed with the half-step Dark Shadow Monarch that it was indeed Lin Can's order. Then, since that was the case, there must be a shocking change in the Dark Shadow race. He had to go, or the consequences would be unimaginable. After the doppelganger took away the attribute light ball of the auspicious beast plane, Xiaolinger flew over. Seeing so many auspicious beasts, she exclaimed and said solemnly, Master, I've already found the route the Dark Shadow race took. We can set off at any time. Lin Shan waved his hand. Let's go. Attack the Dark Shadow race. The distorted space directly below the Divine River Galaxy was dark and boundless. It was as if there was no end to it. This place was like the boundary of the universe, covered by a dark shadow. and on the other side of the distorted space was a paradise. Spirit plants stood like a forest, and the dark shadow surged like a tide. Countless treasures were piled up here. This place was one of the Dark Shadow race's hidden base planes. Innate Dark Shadow altar. The young and handsome Lin Qin sat on top of the altar, refining countless rare treasures into the whirlpool-like Dark Shadow body. In the end, everything was swallowed into nothingness. Lin Qin said with intoxication, his eyes filled with bloody light. Such a young body and bloodline. I can't stop even if I want to. As expected of my final product, it has all the potential of an ultimate Dark Shadow, and it also has the fastest growth shortcut in the world. It has merged the advantages of the Demon race, Dark Shadow race, and Dragon race. Lin Qin, who was sitting high up on the altar, stood up, spread his arms, and laughed wildly. Ha ha! You didn't expect it, did you? You didn't even dream that I would be able to calculate to this step, did you? The 14th Ultimate Dark Shadow, the 15th Ultimate Dark Shadow, you are all my stepping stones. I will become the only king of the Dark Shadow race. Next, the Divine River Galaxy will be in my hands. Sacred boundary of the human race, I, Tuo Sheng, have returned. Chapter 1798. Tuo Sheng. In the annals of human history, the Saint Realm expert who loved to wander the world had long since disappeared in the long river of time. Now, he had reappeared in the world. He had borrowed the body of Lin Qin Jr. to return to the world. Or rather, he had been planning this all along. He had planned this the moment the 14th Ultimate Dark Shadow possessed his dead body. Lincoln laughed maniacally. I refined my blood with my primordial spirit and transformed my body with my bloodline. I planted my bloodline in the 15th Ultimate Dark Shadow. In addition, the 14th Ultimate Dark Shadow possessed my body and fused my primordial spirit with it. When the two meet and devour each other, they will fuse and revive. Ha ha ha! You've really staked everything on one throw. You've all been successfully plotted by me. The guy from the 14th issue is naturally intelligent. I'm sure that it will covet my body after I die and take over my accumulation. Clever people are outsmarted by their own cleverness. Clever people are outsmarted by their own cleverness. Ha ha! The 15th Ultimate Dark Shadow's fatal flaw happened to need the 14th Ultimate Dark Shadow's bloodline to fill in. It was a perfect ending. The current Lin Qin Jr. was Tuo Sheng. The real Junior might have died a long time ago. Tuo Sheng's plan was so deep that it was terrifying. He had refined his blood with his primordial spirit and planted his bloodline in the Junior when it was still an egg. Furthermore, he was certain that the ultimate Dark Shadow of the 14th stage would definitely possess his body. In this way, both ultimate Dark Shadows would possess his existence. Once the 14th and 15th Ultimate Dark Shadows fought and devoured each other, Tuo Sheng would be the ultimate winner no matter which side won. But all of this was based on the premise that the Ultimate Shadow Society in the 14th episode possessed his body. If the 14th Ultimate Dark Shadow didn't possess his body, all of this would be for naught. However, Tuo Sheng had won his gamble. He deserved to be called a hero of a generation. Moreover, Tuo Sheng had planned this all along. After he succeeded in possessing Lin Qin's body, he would immediately become the new king of Dark Shadows and mobilize the experts of the Dark Shadow race to search for the auspicious beast plane. Auspicious beasts could influence the providence of the world. When they complemented spirit plants with providence, they were like tigers that had grown wings. It could produce massive amounts of resources. However, the auspicious beasts were good at concealing themselves from the fate of the heavens and wouldn't be easily discovered by other races. The only thing they couldn't hide from was the Dark Shadow race's carpet search. That was why the first thing Tuo Sheng wanted to do when he took control of the Dark Shadow race was to take control of the auspicious beasts. He wanted to cut off the other race's path of survival at the source. The Dark Shadow clan was good at collecting treasures. Together with the auspicious beasts, there was no clan in the world that could compare to them. The reason why the Dark Shadow race didn't unite was because there wasn't a single Dark Shadow king who could rule them. Now that a king had appeared, he would be invincible. Tuo Sheng's eyes flickered, and his handsome face twisted slightly. He was still unable to completely control this body. From possessing it to suppressing Lin Can's essence soul will, it had only taken him a few months. There were still some remnants of Lin Can's will in the depths of his body, and he needed enough time to completely assimilate it. Tuo Sheng exhaled. Dark tides surged around him, and distorted shadows floated in the air as he muttered to himself. According to the original plan, my ultimate Dark Shadow should have been the existence with the greatest potential in the world. Tuo Sheng's eyes were as dark as the abyss. But this time, Lin Shun just had to appear. Tuo Sheng had taken over Lin Chen's body and fused with many of his memories. He was no stranger to Lin Shun. Even Tuo Sheng, who had traveled through the various races for dozens of eras, had never seen or heard of this human before. The arc of their growth was simply not a height that the human race could reach. Who in the world could expand and condense their acupoints tens of thousands of times? Was he even human? When Tuo Sheng fused with part of Lin Can's memories, his jaw almost dropped to the ground. He had only been dead for a few eras. Were all the young people these days so terrifying, expanding and condensing their acupoints tens of thousands of times? If the sacred boundary was filled with such monsters, wouldn't he, the ultimate Dark Shadow, be the weakest of the weakest? Fortunately, after some investigation, Tuo Sheng realized that Lin Shun was the only one of his kind in the sacred boundary. The biggest variable now was to avoid Lin Shun for the time being. This child is my only variable. No matter what time it is, I should avoid this child's sharpness. Rumble. Time and space trembled, and the altar shook violently. Tuo Sheng frowned. Who dares to attack my altar? My king, there are intruders. 5 innate Dark Shadow monarchs emerged from the void. Layers of darkness surged, and they looked like birds with dark feathers. The leader, the Dark Shadow monarch, said fearfully, It's the humans. Tuo Sheng's heart skipped a beat. How did the humans discover my location? How many have come? The Dark Shadow monarch said, 3. Also, all the Dark Shadow warriors we sent to the auspicious beast realm have been captured. What? Tuo Sheng's hair stood on end. Dark shadows rolled like the tide, and the Dark Shadow hall behind the altar shook violently. Bam! Bam! For distorted shadows transformed into a dark ray of light and shot into the sacrificial altar, smashing into the ground one after another. Blood flowed out, and miserable screams rang out. The Dark Shadow monarchs looked closely. They were the 4 innate dark shadows they had sent to attack the auspicious beast realm. Tuo Sheng rose to his feet angrily. In his human form, his eyes were as black as ink. He stared outside the altar, and an aura that was both strange and familiar appeared in the air. Lin Can, I didn't teach you to invade other races. As the cold and mocking laughter echoed in the air, the silver-robed figure stepped on the shadow altar and slowly walked over. Have you become arrogant, Lin Shun? Or have I, Lin Shun, become too arrogant? Have you forgotten what I taught you after becoming the new king of the Dark Shadow race? All the Dark Shadow monarchs released their shadows to protect Tuo Sheng and guard against Lin Shun. Lin Shun looked at Lin Can calmly and smiled. Why aren't you saying anything? The strange light in Tuo Sheng's eyes changed rapidly. He pretended to be reunited and said excitedly, Big brother, why are you here? There's a deep story behind this. I'll explain it to you. He reprimanded. This is my human big brother, Lin Shun. Don't be rude. The 5 Dark Shadow monarchs were shocked. Lin Shun of the human race? Is he the one the elders were talking about a while ago? In order not to arouse Lin Chen's suspicions, Tuo Sheng waved a hand, and the Dark Shadow monarchs stepped aside and withdrew their defensive posture. He quickly walked over and hovered in front of Lin Shun. He grinned and said, Big brother, the reason why the auspicious beast realm, holy light suddenly exploded. Lin Shen raised his hand and tore through the void with his fingers, unleashing a peerless holy power that could suppress eternity. He slapped the Dark Shadow Monarch's head in a flash. Rip! Boom! The slap created thousands of afterimages and broke the spatial crystal wall and the barrier. The terrifying power penetrated the ground and spread all the way until the surface of the Dark Shadow altar cracked and shattered. All the Dark Shadow Monarchs were shocked. The new Dark Shadow Monarch vomited blood on the spot. He turned into a unique shadow dragon and was crushed into the ground. Lin Shen clapped his hands and said calmly, "Remember this. It doesn't matter if you're Lin, Qian, or Tua Sheng. You'll always be a little brother to me." Chapter 1799. In the Dark Shadow Plain, an overwhelming darkness seeped out from the ground, the sky, the mountains, the rivers, and the seas. Outside the Dark Shadow altar, Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling floated in the air, ready for battle. On the surface, the two of them looked calm and collected. Even if MT Tai collapsed in front of them, their expressions would not change. However, their hearts were already in turmoil. "Lord, you're going too far this time. Lord, you really think highly of us by asking us to block these innate dark shadows outside." Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling smiled bitterly as they communicated telepathically. Stopping all the innate dark shadows in the enemy's base? That was impossible. Even though the Dark Shadow race had gone through many wars and had declined, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Dozens of innate dark shadows had gathered in a short period of time, and each of them was comparable to a human sage king. Other than that, there were some dark shadow race that were even more terrifying than normal sage kings. They had obviously touched the threshold of the sovereign level. Although the two of them were the best among the sage kings and had extraordinary skills, facing such a terrifying enemy, they would be drowned by numbers alone. Most importantly, the task given to them by Lord was to guard the outside. They could only fight and not run. If there were only the two of them, they would definitely lose this battle. It was just a matter of time. However, there was no confusion in their eyes. They had entrusted their lives to Lin Shen. Even if Lin Shen wanted them to die, they would not hesitate. Buzz. Red clouds rose, and a faint reddish-gold divine light enveloped the two of them, forming a halo. Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling were surprised. It's Lord's absolute defense. The divine light descended, and the Dragon King, whose body was as majestic as a galaxy, appeared right above the Dark Shadow Plain. It was Lin Chen's Dragon King. After obtaining the blood essence of the demonic God King's remains, the Dragon King's injuries from using the Tai Ian Dragon Claw were all healed. It even reached the threshold of 99 million venerables. The Dragon King's body was as large as a few stars if it was fully displayed. It opened its mouth wide, and 5 water prisons covered the altar in the Shadow Plane. They began to seal the boundary of the plane. The innate Dark Shadow race's ability to travel through the void was extremely strong. In order to prevent the Dark Shadow race from escaping, the Dragon King's extreme prison, Heavenly Prison, had to be used to imprison the Dark Shadow Plane. The Dark Shadow race began to attack the Dragon King's extreme prison, Heavenly Prison, after sending out a profound energy wave to each other in the language unique to the Dark Shadow race. They were aware of the other's intentions. Zi Qianshou shouted coldly, "Let's go and assist our lord." With a flick of his finger, the 12 Dao Palaces array formation appeared. The all-encompassing Star Palace's array formation enveloped the entire area. Xiaoling nodded and said, "Prioritize stabilizing the space near the altar. Don't let them destroy the structure of the prison. The Lord specifically instructed that we must not let the new Shadow King escape." With Lin Shen's Taishi Divine Light, the two of them could ignore all the attacks coming their way. Inside the Shadow Altar, Tua Sheng's head was smacked by Lin Shen's palm, and he was almost severely injured. His eyes were filled with disbelief. After I became the new Shadow King, I could even suppress the human race's reincarnation saint stage. How could this kid injure me with a single palm? The most terrifying thing was that Tuo Sheng was very familiar with the saint stage. He could sense that Lin Shun had only cultivated the qi of life and death. In other words, even with such terrifying saint power, his actual cultivation level was not higher than the star realm. What kind of monstrous and abnormal strength was this? It was not surpassing levels or surpassing levels at all. It was surpassing levels. He had completely surpassed a major realm. He could even crush a saint king. He had reached a level above the reincarnation saint stage. All right, he just mentioned my name. Before Tuo Sheng could react, Lin Shen stomped his foot. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled as holy light shot up into the sky and toward Tuo Sheng, piercing through the earth like a raging dragon. The 5 innate dark shadow monarchs flashed and distorted the space at a terrifying speed. In an instant, they reversed the space and rescued their new king. Bang! Bang! The altar was completely torn apart and turned into dust. Wherever the holy light passed, it illuminated the dark underground. Lin Shun and Tuo Sheng looked at each other. Tuo Sheng said in disbelief, "You can recognize me?" Lin Shun sneered. Lin Chen is the guy who went through half of the sacred boundary with me. How could I not recognize my own brother? Indeed, Tuo Sheng had taken over Lin Can's body. No matter what kind of secret technique he used, he could not tell the difference because they were essentially the same being. However, Lin Shun could sense the new Shadow King's wariness and wariness when they first met. One had to know that little Shadow King Lin Chen was not wary of Lin Shun at all. Lin Shun knew better than anyone how many life and death battles they had fought side by side. In fact, Lin Chen even held a certain amount of respect and admiration for Lin Shun. The new Shadow King did not have any of that. This was a bond that only brothers who had gone through life and death together could understand. It was stronger and more effective than any distinguishing technique. Since that was the case, there was only one possibility left: Tuo Sheng. If the Khanate Shadow King's inheritance was Little Shadow King's possession, he would have attacked long ago. He could have attacked Lin Chen back in the battlefield of the 9 races. Why wait until now? Combined with the fact that Lin Chen had killed the 14th Ultimate Shadow King, the only possibility left was Tuo Sheng. The new Dark Shadow King in front of him was a genuine threat to the Dark Shadow race. To Lin Shun, he was a fake. Lin Shun clenched his fist, and a dark red holy sword appeared. The blade looked like it had been doused in bloody flames. Wait, Lin Shun. Tuo Sheng suddenly spoke. Why do we have to kill each other? I've spent my entire life immersing myself in the lives of all races, and it wasn't easy for me to leave a way out for myself. Besides, this little guy has given you a lot of benefits when he was alive, hasn't he? Lin Chen's expression suddenly darkened. Mad, killing intent brewed in his eyes. Tuo Sheng sent a secret message to Lin Shun. Now that I've come back to life, it's only a matter of time before I completely control the Dark Shadow race. Lin Shun, with your ability and talent, why don't you work with me? You'll have half of what the Dark Shadow race has in the future. As long as you're willing to work with me, you'll have half of what the Dark Shadow race once had. Tuo Sheng was extending an olive branch to Lin Shun. They controlled multiple spatial coordinates in the universe, knew a lot of secret realms, and possessed unparalleled wealth and resources. The Dark Shadow race was indeed the race with the most potential. That was why they were targeted by all races. Lin Chen said slowly, Tuo Sheng, you'll always be you. He'll always be him. If my brother dies, you'll have to accompany him in death. Lin Chen stepped on a cloud, flew through the sky, and slashed vertically with absolute blaze, creating 1,000 layers of flames. ZZZT, ZZZT, ZZZT. Intense black smoke rose from the corrosion, and a shadow that seemed to cover the sky blocked Lin Chen's blade. I gave you face, but you didn't take it. Tuo Sheng scolded angrily. He sent a message to the Dark Shadow Monarchs. Listen up, tell the founding elders to come out of seclusion and take down this kid. The 5 Dark Shadow Monarchs were surprised. This human was strong, but they didn't need the founding elders to come out of seclusion to deal with him. Did they? Tuo Sheng was exasperated. God damn it, a bunch of idiots. There are 7 more who are as strong as him. Almost as soon as he finished speaking, flowers rained down from the heavens, and rays of illusory, divine light descended upon the altar. 7 illusory avatars surrounded Tuo Sheng. The Dark Shadow Monarchs sucked in a breath of cold air. There really were 7 of them? Huh. Chapter 1800. Lin Shun instantly reduced a large amount of runic energy. Now that he had broken through 6 Saint Acupoints in a row, his cultivation level had skyrocketed, and the amount of runic energy required for the doppelgangers to synchronize with his cultivation level had also skyrocketed. My cultivation level has skyrocketed after breaking through acupoints in a row. I need a battle to get used to it, so I can test it out on these dark shadow beings. Lin Shen's eyes flashed as he stared at Tuo Sheng. Tuo Sheng's primordial spirit and will are still somewhat incomplete. If that's the case, I wonder if Lin can still be saved. Lin Shen kept an eye out. The Dragon King in the outside world was always preparing another divine dragon bloodline supernatural power. Tuo Sheng looked around, and his heart sank. Has he been planning to surround me all along? Why can't I send a message out? Something's not right. Our altar space has been sealed. The dark shadow beings outside can't enter. We've been surrounded. The 5 Dark Shadow Monarchs looked at each other, and their true forms, which were distorting space, gradually revealed themselves. The dark shadow beings' eyes flickered like willow, the wisps in the night. Their bodies were shaped like bats, and their left and right claws were covered in wing shadows. Every time they flapped their wings, a tidal wave of dark mist swept up. One of the doppelgangers pulled out luminous rhino, rushing thunder, and burning spirit flying daggers. 3 daggers flashed and tore through the darkness, covering Lin Shun as he rushed toward Tuo Sheng. Don't let him get close to the new king. Beat him to death. The 5 Dark Shadow Monarchs fought Lin Chen's doppelgangers head-on, and the doppelgangers blocked their attacks with ease. Even though the Dark Shadow race's innate ability was to travel through space, Lin Chen had a total of 7 doppelgangers. In a single exchange, Lin Chen arrived in front of Tuo Sheng. Roar! The dragon's roar reverberated like thunder. Tuo Sheng had finally revealed his true form as the ultimate shadow. It was an unprecedentedly huge creature that opened up the altar space. Its face was like a qilin, its claws like an eagle, and its body like a snake. Demonic aura formed scales, and dark shadows formed wings. The dark aura around it absorbed all the light in the world. It stretched out a claw, its movements slow, as if it was a giant beast that had difficulty moving. However, bam, Lin Shun fell down like a meteor. Even though he was using his movement technique, he was still hit. Ultimate Dark Shadow raised his dragon claws and swung them horizontally. Dark energy surged, and the force of the 2 dragon claws tore through the void like a pair of scissors. Lin Shun raised his saber and slashed violently in the air. Clang! Bang! 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 The aftermath of the collision set off a shockwave that destroyed everything within the altar space. Everything was reduced to dust. Only multiple battle rings were left in the vast space of the altar. That strange dragon opened its mouth wide, and a dark purple, baleful aura condensed. It was actually condensing the aura of the devil race. In the next moment, the dragon's mouth spat out more than a dozen tornadoes that devoured the heavens and the earth, crushing the light rays and attacking Lin Chen once again. This time, Lin Chen did not use a saber. Instead, he used the demon-slaughtering spear that was most effective against demons. Lin Shun pulled the spear with both hands, and 10,000 bolts of lightning surged. Lightning snakes danced around Lin Chen's body. When they entered the spear, Lin Shun thrust the spear back, and the dazzling lightning pierced through the baleful aura tornadoes, dominating the world. Tuo Sheng's dragon body swayed, and the moment Lin Chen blocked the attack, Tuo Sheng mysteriously disappeared. He swung his dragon tail, and the mighty force of the 1,000 layers of oblivion struck Lin Chen from a distance. The dragon tail came crashing down. Bam! Bam! Lin Chen had just fired a spear, but he was caught off guard and was knocked back again. He took more than a dozen steps in the air and looked around, staring at the colossal creature in front of him. That attack just now transcended space. The combination of the dragon race's power and the dark shadow race's spatial innate talent has caused space to have no trajectory to speak of. This is Tuo Sheng's ultimate achievement. Lin Chen couldn't help but sigh in amazement. He had never seen a more perfect living being. The proud dragon tilted its head back slightly, inhaling and exhaling a storm that could sweep away the sun and moon. Its dragon eyes glanced at Lin Chen arrogantly and conceitedly. Tuo Sheng said in a low, muffled voice, "Lin Chen of a human race, do you see this great achievement of mine? This is the greatest masterpiece of life, and it belongs to me. No matter who you are, the Dark Shadow King or the strongest in the world, it will be mine sooner or later. This innate dark fiend dragon transformed from the ultimate shadow is my strongest trump card. A connate dark shadow demon dragon. The killing power of the demon race, the body of the dragon race, and the innate talent of the dark shadow race. In the past, Lin Can's cultivation had been too weak to display the heaven-defying potential of this great talent. But things were different now. After passing the previous Dark Shadow King's test and inheritance, and living in the Dark Shadow race with almost endless resources, his cultivation had skyrocketed, and this advantage that originated from the essence of life had been magnified infinitely. The previous Dark Shadow Kings had fatal flaws, but this generation's king would be invincible as long as he grew to the level of a true god of the human race. He was practically the incarnation of a demon god. He perfectly made up for the weakness of the connate Dark Shadow race, and no one could easily find an opening to attack him. The arrogant Tuo Sheng sneered. "I was going to give you some face and join forces with you because of your talent, but it seems that there's no need for that now. You shameless thing, I'll kill you myself." Rumble. The dragon's tail turned and smashed furiously at Lin Chen. The dragon's tail absorbed the spiraling storm of murderous aura and shot toward Lin Chen like a bolt of lightning. Lin Chen flew into the sky and used his movement technique to the fullest. He stepped on the clouds and dodged the ferocious attack. The demonic dragon's tail, which was releasing a spiraling storm, missed its target. The space suddenly distorted, and the demonic dragon's tail, which was tens of thousands of feet long, strangely appeared behind Lin Chen. It was as if it had jumped into the void. Lin Chen said in surprise, "I can't dodge it." Bam! Bam! Lin Chen was hit again. However, Tuo Sheng's expression changed drastically. His dragon's tail was restrained by a peerless saint power that could suppress 10,000 saints, and it couldn't move at all. Lin Chen's fingers dug into the dragon's tail, and his flesh tore open as he sneered coldly. "Keep jumping, Tuo Sheng. Why aren't you jumping? Weren't you jumping a lot just now?" Tuo Sheng's dragon pupil shrank. His huge dragon body suddenly trembled, and Tuo Sheng said in a trembling voice, "You're still hiding your strength?" He had seen Lin Chen's many trump cards from Lin Can's memories, but Lin Chen wasn't using any of them now. He was even suppressing him with one hand. Just how strong was this guy? Buzz! Rumble! At this moment, Lin Chen's saint power was fully unleashed. The sky changed color, and the dark shadow plane trembled. When Tuo Sheng saw Lin Chen's body flashing with 116 hexagonal starlight, he was completely dumbfounded. 116 saint points? Is this guy a reincarnation saint or a life and death saint? But that's not right. Even a saint ruler doesn't have more than 100 saint points. Since ancient times, no saint had ever had more than 100 saint points. Could it be that this kid had created his own cultivation system? Lin Shen said calmly, I'm done warming up. To be able to withstand 60% of my saint power, your growth rate is the fastest. 60% of his saint power? Tuo Sheng was shocked. The Khanate demonic dragon, who had been arrogant and domineering just a moment ago, suddenly went limp. Lin Chen hadn't even used his full strength? Was he still human? Chapter 1801. Lin Shun needed to fight until he could get used to his new strength. During the battle, he was also observing Tuo Sheng. Killing Tuo Sheng was not Lin Chen's main goal. Saving Lin Chen was his priority. Lin Chen thought to himself, as expected, Lin Chen hasn't completely dissipated. If I want to save him, I'll have to take a gamble. He could not give in to a madman like Tuo Sheng. Once he did, Tuo Sheng would become fearless. Tuo Sheng forced himself to remain calm. Don't think that you're the only one with a trump card, Lin Chen. My Dark Shadow Monarchs are also. Lin Chen sneered. Oh, is that so? Why don't you turn around and see what a surprise is? Tuo Sheng was taken aback. When he turned around, his pupils constricted, and his face was filled with disbelief. All 5 of his Dark Shadow Monarchs were currently being held by Lin Chen's doppelgangers like chickens. They could not move at all. Suppression. Suppression in every aspect. Lin Shun had previously broken through 6 Saint Acupoints in a row. With 58 Saint Acupoints and 58 Great 1 Saint Acupoints, his combat strength had already surpassed the level of a reincarnation sage. In other words, his doppelgangers were far stronger than ordinary reincarnation sages. They were equivalent to early-stage quasi-gods. In other words, Lin Chen's doppelgangers were equivalent to 8 quasi-gods in the Dark Shadow tribe. Crimson clouds formed under Lin Chen's feet as he flew through the air, leaving afterimages everywhere. This time, Lin Chen's speed was several times faster than before. Tuo Sheng's massive body immediately retreated, his scalp tingling. Where will he attack from? From the right or from above? He's too fast, even if I can predict it. Bang! Bang! Then he threw out a punch that was as powerful as a raging tsunami, right at the top of Demon Dragon's head. His leg swept out like a dragon and sent Demon Dragon, Saint Dragon body flying, causing him to fall into the endless void. The ground trembled, and everything was reduced to dust. Lin Shun attacked continuously, suppressing Tuo Sheng just by using his sacred power. It was impossible to predict. Even Tuo Sheng, who possessed the ultimate shadow body, could not predict Lin Chen's location. His speed was too fast. When he predicted 10 positions, his afterimages, which were hard to distinguish, would appear from hundreds or even thousands of positions. Lin Chen's figure appeared from all over Buddha Sage's body, his fists pounding, his palms turning into claws as he tore through all of Buddha Sage's defenses. What terrified Tuo Sheng the most was that his injuries had not healed yet. It was a move that Lin Chen remembered clearly in his memories. It was Lin Chen's familiar trump card, the incurable attack. Therefore, the former Lin Chen would always be in awe of Lin Chen. Your big brother will always be your big brother. Tuo Sheng didn't even have a chance to scream as he was being beaten up. For some reason, he recalled what Lin Shun had said earlier. In front of me, you will always be a little brother. Lin Shun, I surrender, I surrender. I am willing to call you king. Tuo Sheng screamed as he clutched his head with his claws. His eyes were bloodshot, and his scales were cracked. The immense pain caused him to beg for mercy. Stop hitting me. It wasn't easy for me to come back to life. Young man, can't you be a little more lenient? I am willing to agree to any of your conditions. Lin Chen sneered and said, My condition is for you to flop. Tuo Sheng hurriedly said, Why don't you become the king of the Dark Shadow race? I am willing to submit to you and do anything for you to take control of the Dark Shadow race. Tuo Sheng's dark dragon eyes flashed with a strange light. He was like a lurking viper, waiting for a chance to strike. Surely, Lin Shan would find it hard to refuse such a generous offer. Taking control of the Dark Shadow race was the dream of many beings who stood at the top of their race. Now, it was right in front of Lin Shan. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't tempted, right? But to his surprise, bang, without hesitation, he punched a hole through Tuo Sheng's body, causing him to spit out a large amount of blood. Tuo Sheng screamed in horror. Lin Shan, have you gone mad? This is your brother's body. If you destroy it, he will never be able to come back to life. Tuo Sheng's eyes were as sharp as ever. He sensed Lin Chen's intentions. Lin Chen hadn't given up on Lin Can. That was why Tuo Sheng was certain that Lin Chen wouldn't kill him. However, the situation was beginning to exceed his expectations. Lin Chen didn't show any mercy and attacked him fiercely. He was clearly trying to kill him. He wasn't giving Tuo Sheng and Lin Can a chance to live. What was Lin Chen's intention? Was he trying to kill him to vent his anger? We're all here to make a living. Can't we talk about benefits? Why was he trying so hard? Madman, you are a madman. I will kill you. Seeing that he couldn't show weakness, Tuo Sheng went berserk. His dragon body danced, and his murderous aura condensed like a flying dragon. His dragon blood burned fiercely, and Tuo Sheng released a shadow that covered the sky as he retreated rapidly. Lin Chen chased after him, riding on the blood-red light. The connate demonic shadow dragon roared at the sky and swung its tail. A terrifying spiral wind swirled around the tail, making it look like a dragon's head. This attack was more than 10 times stronger than before, and the entire altar was reduced to nothingness. Demonic Dragon Dark Devour. This was the strongest attack Tuo Sheng could use after taking control of Lin Can's body. Clang! His sword was unsheathed. Lin Chen didn't use his spear. His hands glowed with colorful light as he raised his sword and slashed furiously. The tip of the sword slashed vertically, slashing out a giant sword that could split the heavens. It fell from the sky and split into 5 shadows in an instant. Divine Force Heaven's splitting sword. Chi! Bang! 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 The heaven-splitting sword easily tore through the sealed space and crushed the dark demonic shadow dragon's tail. The aftermath of the collision caused the altar's space to explode. 2 of the 5 extreme heavenly prisons that were specially used to seal this space also exploded. After a series of explosions, the dark demonic shadow dragon's tail exploded into fragments and elemental light balls. No. Tuo Sheng let out a miserable scream of agony. In an instant, Lin Shen's palm touched his waist, and a stream of light flashed. The flying daggers were unsheathed. Lin Shen's 3 peerless flying daggers, Rushing Thunder, Burning Spirit, and Spirit Rhino, shot out at the same time. The 3 flying daggers flashed like flowing lights, forming a triangular formation that twisted into the dark shadow demon dragon's flesh and blood, crushing its dragon-scale body as easily as crushing dry weeds. These flying daggers destroyed my bloodline. Even the primordial spirit energy in my bloodline was burned into nothingness. Tuo Sheng was horrified. Lin Shan was really going to kill him. Chi! The flying daggers tore Tuo Sheng's dark demonic shadow dragon's body into pieces. Lin Can's body had been completely destroyed. I can't keep this body anymore. It's completely dead. A silvery white light separated from Tuo Sheng's flesh and blood. It was the last wisp of Tuo Sheng's primordial spirit. Tuo Sheng's primordial spirit had finally left Lin Can's body. No, to be precise, it was Lin Can's corpse. The current Lin Can had been completely shattered. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.